Hello and welcome in everybody to my 45,000 day hardcore Minecraft world record world tour. With over 11,000 hours of non-AFK playtime, I have got a lot to show you all. So don't forget to leave a like, consider subscribing if you want to see some more, and let's get into it. And we're going to start things off over here inside the storage room. This is where I bring to life all of the builds I have throughout the world. And as you guys may have noticed, I have split this among the top layer where everything is automatically sorted, and then the bottom layer where everything will be hand sorted among other things. But we'll get into this section a little bit later. Starting off with the top section here, you guys can see I have a light indication system going across the top. I have the corresponding block underneath the light indication system, 5 double chests, and of course my grab and go shulker boxes. We'll get into the light indication system here in just a moment. Working away down here, I have a lime green fog effect, not only on this side, but also on the other side of the room to kind of divide things up. Here in the center, these are my silos for any blocks I have way too much of and don't currently fit inside of my 5 double chest item sorter over here. There are some items that I store a lot more of. Sand, not so much. I have the micro blocks down here, which I obtained through the Wandering Trader using vanilla tweaks. So for those of you guys who are wondering that, you guys can download that over there. Working our way down here, I'll show you guys exactly how this works. So if I grab a box down here, not only are these boxes named whatever item they are, that way I know exactly where they go. It helps with organization along the way. If I take this box and then I put it inside this double chest up here, click the comparator, this item will now flow through the system, go up the dropper tower, and start going through here to light up the indication, which tells me exactly what items are flowing through, and it also reminds me that the storage room isn't broken. It's also a slime farm. But of course, inside the storage room, we also have a overflow. So all of the items in here don't currently get auto sorted. That means that I'm going to have to take these items and I'm going to have to take them downstairs to hand sort them. But before I show you guys where I hand sort all my items quickly, let me show you guys a few of the mobs I have up here because I'm a bit of a collector. First and foremost, I have the full diamond zombie. I found this guy over 100,000 blocks away from my home and brought him all the way back. That was the very first one I ever found. Right over here, I have a guardian. I have my brown mushroom. I have every single wolf throughout the storage room. You'll see more as we progress down there. Skeleton horse, chicken jockey, and of course, a naturally generated pink sheep. But some of you guys may have noticed I have a few mobs up here that are babies forever. And that's because I have a mod that basically allows me to keep any mob in the game a baby as long as it's name tagged, and I'll put it in the description down below. Making our way down here towards the end of the storage room, past the full diamond beacon chandeliers. Don't be jealous. You guys can see this is where I keep all of the stairs and slabs in the game, all towards the end of the storage room, which I've quickly run out of space for. So I'll have to come up with a remedy for that situation in the future. And now time to start shifting our attention to the bottom half of the storage room. Starting things off with this water stream right here. But this is no ordinary water stream. Any items that I throw inside the water stream will be quickly picked up by a hopper system down below and dispensed to lava. Yes, it's a trash can, which is super handy to have. I highly doubt you guys even saw this, but there is a secret room down here. This is where I basically workshop all of my ideas. This is like a nice clean space to do some redstone, do some floor designs, do some wall designs, or whatever it may be. And for those of you guys who recognize the pixel art underneath me, let me know in the comments down below because, well, there's a reason why I'm named Link. And now heading our way over towards where I hand sort all of the items in the game. Right here. This is where I have all of my anvils stacking all the way up to the ceiling over here. This is where I do all of my naming or whatever it may be that require anvils. On this side, it's not working currently because I don't have any books in here, but this is my super lazy way of crafting book and quills. That's also very handy. We all have that one item in the game that we really hate making, and that's one of them for me. Down each and every one of these corridors is where I keep all of the items that don't go through the auto sorter above. Things such as lecterns, chiseled bookshelves, looms, whatever it may be. I have a corresponding hanging sign that is a mod from Better Hanging Signs. I'll link that in the description for you guys as well. Very handy for if you guys want to basically place items inside hanging signs to make your storage room look a little bit nicer. I have my crafting setup right here where I can craft up any items. More of the wolves throughout here. This is kind of like my green bringing things to life area where I keep all of like my leaves, my flowers, and all that sort of stuff. I have my music disc over here. All of my ores. You guys get the picture. Down here, this is where I keep a lot of my overflow stock as well. I call these ones the cellars. So if I have an abundance of blocks that don't fit up above, I'll also start organizing them down here. Heading back into the main room again, you guys will see I have a charge creeper on both sides. I have a ravager right here. Like I said, I'm a bit of a collector. I have the Hylian heart container right here in the center of my room as a little bit of a centerpiece. And then I have some inspirations that I look up to in the Minecraft community. If you guys know who they are, let me know in the comments below. I would be surprised if you don't know who they are, especially this guy. So you guys have now officially seen where I hand sort all my items, where I auto sort all my items, but where's my base exactly? Well, if we continue on through this water vader right over here, we'll be shot up into an additional room above our storage room. And this is basically a supporter hall for every single person who has helped me become a full-time content creator, especially over on Twitch, where I live stream this world every single day at noon Pacific Standard Time. Each of these individuals have their own individual plots. On the plot, they will also have the corresponding bit badge that they have achieved over on Twitch, and of course, their gifted badge as well, which is a little bit of a thank you from me to you guys. So thank you. Continuing on through here, I have a different concept back here. This is going to be an auto crafting room that will automatically sort right into my storage room below. Right here, this is where I craft up all my rockets. So I'll put gunpowder on this side, and then I'll put paper on this side. This one over here, this is my TNT. So I'll basically just craft up a bunch of TNT and it'll automatically sort down below. This is a little bit of a crude way to get over to my gunpowder farm, but following through that tunnel right here, this is where I have all of my gunpowder get collected, and it gets collected down into these double chests below where I just kind of pick them up. And then I find a shulker box where I could basically fit them, and then I can utilize that to basically craft up TNT or rockets or whatever that may be. Down here, this is the tunnel that connects all the way to the gunpowder farm. I'll show you guys the creeper farm that's beyond that wall once we start making our way out of my base. Coming down here, I have a bridge. This bridge takes me to my very first auto brewing area, and I'm going to quickly show you guys that because it's very outdated, and in this area in particular I definitely don't use. But this was a very early on potion room that I started using in the first couple thousand days of this world. Making our way back over to the main corridor area. You guys may have already noticed, but we are inside of the wooded badlands or the mesa, and we're about to explore one of my favorite projects in this world, the Mossa. And right behind me is my base. It's a humble abode, but it is my home. So I'm very pleased to show you guys. This is the new and improved dojo. So everything that I just showed you is basically down this hole right here that feeds into everything that we just came from. But this is supposed to be the epicenter of where I'm going to be breathing life back into the Mesa project. This is what I call the Mossa. It's a little bit of a play on words where I'm slowly converting an entire mesa into a lush green landscape. Everything used to look like this, and now everything looks like this. But to start things off over here, I think we're going to start right over here in the peninsula of the Mossa. You guys can see a little bit of the city that we're going to look at later, but this is Anchor's Bay. So I have my 2 anchors here. I will build a bridge that goes all the way across here and connects over to the city as the city expands. And this is supposed to be a little bit of a fishing district where I have a bunch of cats. I have a fishing area down here with a bunch of docks and crab pots and supplies if you need to buy any supplies. Of course, we got to have Lapras for people who want to go on the back of Lapras and swim on away. I then have tugboats, merchant boats, and houseboats. And as we continue down the pathway here, you guys can see I've tried to make the pathway extremely basic. It's just dirt and coarse dirt, but I think it's very effective. You can see my base up there, and then I've got like little pieces and points of interest along the way. Right over here, I got a nice little campsite, and you'll see a few of these scattered throughout the Mosslands. This is not done yet. I'm still waiting on a bunch of new things to come together from snapshots, such as the buttercups and the new bushes, the fireflies, all of the new things that Mojang has been announcing lately. Has all been very exciting. But right over here, this is my very first nether portal that used to take me into the nether, where I got to my gold farm and my iron farm, and I'll show you guys what that looks like when we head over to the nether portion of today's build. But I got a couple flying gas coming out of here, the bone bridge coming across, the rib cage, the soul sand valley, and the basalt delta right over here. Moving our way over to this portion of the Mossa. This is called Harvest Hollows. This is supposed to be an autumn themed area of the Mossa. This is going to be completely revamped over time, but this is kind of where I wanted to play around with like different cool looking mushrooms, have some pumpkins scattered along here, some little like beehive areas, little windmills, amethyst houses. We got wagons over here, which I really love. And then a couple little like cottage core houses and pumpkin pie if you want. But this is a very cottage core-esque kind of place. I have a dilapidated truck over here, little camping area, and I want to expand this area up here. So if we fly up here, this is obviously a little bit above the area, and I haven't done anything. So all of what you guys see around here hasn't been touched by the Mossa, but you can kind of see exactly where things started. So one day in the future expansion, I'll be expanding Harvest Hollows all the way up here and doing the Great Falls. But let's focus our attention down below. Right down here, this is called Halfling Hills. Halfling Hills is a Hobbitshire inspired by Lord of the Rings. I have Gandalf over here with his book. All of these houses come fully equipped with an interior. So as I walk through here, you guys could see I have a bunch of hobbits in here. And of course, none of them are wearing shoes. But don't worry, I'm not going to go ahead and show you every single interior that I have in this area, because this video would be 5 to 6 hours long if that was the case. But I'm going to show you guys a little bit of the wagons that we have, the carrots and the potatoes that we have planted. In here though, I will show you guys a little bit of tips and tricks. So I've got a cool like armor stand mod that allows me to do some really cool things. So I've got some hanging up clothes over there. Working our way through the Hobbitshire, we've got little carts right here. This is supposed to be Gandalf's wagon with all the fireworks in the back, and then he's got his 2 horses, or at least his like this noticeable horse. I think that's just a random horse, but we got a little horse right there. Working our way down here, we have a nice little bridge. That anchor needs to be removed. It's part of the ship up here. I'll show you guys that here in a moment. We have a little frog statue because the frog update came out right around the time we were building this place. Of course, we have the nugget being found inside of the lake, which is supposed to be the ring from Lord of the Rings. I have this random little ice cave over here where I have two polar bears called Pepsi and Cola. Don't ask why I have it over here. At the time, I was like, I want to build an ice cave. And well, we have an ice cave now. So that's a little bit random. But anyways, nice little part of history. Come through here. Like I said, I'll give you guys a brief look at all the interiors that we have in here. It's just a bunch of hobbits having parties. Working our way over this way. We've got a little flip goblin doing flip goblin stuff. Little picnic area over here. More little houses. This guy used to hide around a bush. I need to put his bush back. And then we got these small little wells. So that's Halfling Hills. Coming back up here, we can walk around my base a little bit more. This is the front side of the base. This is where I pretty much access all of the builds. So if we start here, you guys could see I've got a dragon being slayed by a wolf over there. We have a nice little house right here with all of my pathways connecting through. You can see the seed vault, the lighthouse, the shipwreck, everything through there. We've got some really cool water towers and farmhouses we're going to get around to. Squirrels hanging out inside of the tree. Big autumn tree. So I guess we'll work our way around there right after I show you guys what's going on around here. I have a lodestone. This lodestone basically shows me exactly where we're going to be heading off to. So I have the Sculklands. I have the farmlands. I could obviously link a compass to this lodestone if I ever lose home. I have the Mossa, and that's about it. That's all I see. I don't know about you guys. Maybe you guys see a little bit more. This is kind of like a flashback back when I built my very first base back there. Because this base, was my very first circle in Minecraft, so I was very impressed at the time. That was about almost 5 years ago. Little horse stable over here. Nice big tree kind of spanning on over across there. Another little homestead. Really love the way that this one turned out. Got these random little benches kicking around here. Nice trees. I'll show you guys an overview map so you guys can kind of see a top-down view here real quick. I built this entire lake over here where we're heading. This is called the Great Lakes Project. And you guys can see we have a little bit of a skulky area over there, which is inspired by the Lion King. This is supposed to be like Pride Rock. This is supposed to be the shadowy place we don't talk about. But we'll get into that here in just a moment. But it's a fairly big terraforming project, huh? Here's another view of the Great Lake. I have a little bit of a shed up here. I absolutely love the view of the islands from all the way down here. And as we progress a little bit closer to the peninsula, you guys can see I've got a small little tower house that also doesn't have an interior, but it will soon enough. And then right over here is the Great Lake Project. And now to quickly go take a look at the farming district over here, because I do have a couple farms over here, believe it or not. I know, kind of crazy having farms inside the farming district, but I have the giant autumn tree right here. I thought it went extremely well with all of the wheat in the area. I have 2 farmhouses that do not have interiors. At least I'm being honest with the amount of lack of interiors I have, but I also have a ton of other interiors. So this is the big farmhouse, and then we have the little farmhouse right here. You guys can see I've got a giant castle over there in the Sculklands. I'll show you guys a closer look at that because that's an extremely cool project. Working our way down here. This is my very first sheep farm I had in the world. So this sheep farm, I think, has 4 of every single colored sheep. It has a rainbow with a void effect and the clouds kind of passing by. This is supposed to be symbolic of the rainbow with clouds. I have quite a bit of wool over here. I don't think I'll ever have to worry about wool again because I have an additional sheep farm to show you guys later. That's a little crazy. Coming out of the cave over here, this area has been absolutely gutted because I plan to completely revamp this area coming up here in the future. But I have a nice little waterfall that connects over to the Great Lake back there. And I have a horse stable back here with a bird dropping a deuce. Yuck. But anyways, this is where I keep a lot of the horses. Apparently a goat that I didn't really know about, and a donkey. And I think this guy is Pig Champ or something. That's a pig that I kind of ride around. So that was everything to see in the farmland. I want to show you guys a few other things around this area in particular. So as we progress our way down this area, we've got a nice little wolf howling statue, which is connected to another build in the world, our Dwarven kingdom, with our pirates. But I'll show you guys that later. I have another little campsite right over here. And I'm going to build a building right here. I didn't know what building I wanted to put here because I didn't want to ruin any of the views. So I'm not 100% sure with what's going to go there. Maybe it'll be a small chicken coop with the new chickens coming into Minecraft. I have the lighthouse right here and the giant shipwreck right beside the lighthouse, which I thought was kind of funny. A little bit of an oxymoron, but that's the reason why we needed to have a lighthouse at the end of the day, right? I'm going to have a little bit of a stairway that goes all the way up to the lighthouse one day. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to put an interior in there, but maybe one day we will put an interior in there. I don't know. We have a little farmhouse right here, which has a zombie inside of it. A little pig pen right there. And this is our water tower right below where our farmhouses are located. And one last thing to show you guys in the area. This is just a random cave that I built up. It's got a spider spawner. But if I swim on in here, it's just a fully terraformed little cave that's a little cozy and has a little geode in here as well. So that is the Mossa project, at least the ground. We have a couple floating islands over here, which makes the Mossa project into a 3-dimensional project, which is ground, air, and underground. But a lot of these waterfalls are kind of cascading and just falling into like a little bit of a mist. And they're nothing special, but they have like little bits and pieces of life all over the island, which I absolutely adore. But they're all interconnected to this boat right over here. So let's take a little bit of a closer look at the boat over here, because this boat is what's supposed to bring all of these islands to the Mossa. So as you guys may notice, a couple of my islands have some really cool mushrooms growing off of them. And that's because they're from the mushroom lands, which is exactly where this flying boat is coming from. This is my mushroom farm, and I'll show you guys a little bit of an overhead view of that right now. Starting things off over here at the very starboard of the ship, I think. Correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. I think this is the starboard, and I think that is the... I need to brush up on my terminology, but anyways, you guys can see we have a couple mushrooms here being transported into the Mossa. We have these giant mushrooms also being transported. I think that this guy up here also had the giant mushrooms on it as well, which I absolutely love. I think these things look fantastic. The sails are all made out of mushroom stem, which is absolutely brutal. If you know anything about me, you know that I absolutely hate farming mushroom stems, but we have a farm for that, and I'll show you guys what that looks like here in just a moment. We have the little areas where water can go off into. We have the cannons if we're ever under attack. And then over here are the 3 pigs. We have the little pig, the medium-sized pig, and then the big pig. And we'll work our way up here first. So up here is the map room. This is what my Mossa actually looked like before I fully revamped the entire area, minus that map right there in particular, because I messed that one up. But you can see there was a lot more blossom trees here and a couple other structures that aren't there anymore. This is supposed to be like kind of like a podzol area over here with like some trees and mushrooms growing. Over here, this is supposed to be a mycelium biome, just other areas that also have mushrooms as well. Behind the ship, you guys can see we've got all of the islands that we're kind of towing into place over here. There'll be more islands in the future. I have the mushroom cow on the other side of the where the pig was left. Coming around here, this is the front of the ship. Walk our way down here. This is the middle of the ship. So this is where the captain's quarters is located. We have beds for everybody to sleep at. A little bit of a compass or a log thingy, so you guys know exactly where you're going. Also, just kind of a nice way to light up the area. I have the mushroom cows, which I actually think look, whoa, fantastic on the map as well. I think they look pretty cool. Maddie and everybody hanging out here in the captain's quarters. You guys will notice I have a lot of things here that are being named after people, and that's because I build things for people over on my Twitch channel just by watching my channel long enough to earn one of these builds. Right in here, we have a little bit of a library, but this library is also a storage room for where I keep a bunch of mushrooms. So I have red mushrooms, I have mushroom stems, which I highly doubt I even have. I have mushrooms to basically replant at the farm right here in the middle. Brown mushrooms as well. And a little bit of a cool little floor that is like a mushroom with clouds passing by, which I thought was really nice. Behind me, this is the main hall of the ship. This is where I'll farm up a bunch of big, large mushrooms. But behind these big crates right here is actually a fully automated mushroom stem farm. So all I gotta do is just stand here, grow a mushroom. That mushroom will then grow up. I come up here, I get rid of all of the mushroom caps. It pushes it towards me. And then the mushroom stems are pushed through this piston feed, which goes all the way to the very end here, connects to this fence, and then pushes it right here, creating one large block of mushroom stems. So that is how I get all the mushrooms throughout my world in the bow above the Mossa. But now let's shift our attention over here to the seed vault. The seed vault is supposed to be a location where I keep all of the seeds safe. That way, if Armageddon did break out, I have a way to recultivate the land and bring everything back to life. This was a massive terraforming project that was very daunting at the time, but I absolutely love the way that this one turned out. So let me go to bed real quick so I can show you guys what this looks like during the day. So with a new day upon us, let's start things down here and work our way up to the very top progressively, because there's quite a few things to see here. But as you guys may notice, this is where I kind of wanted to come across building terraforming using maybe some different blocks. So I've got tough, coal, deep slate, and it all works its way down. I will have a build underneath this build later, but I want to show you guys a little bit of the water stream that I have down here, because I have salmon making their way all the way up the waterfall into the aquifers up there. But let me show you guys the plorks of what we call them. They're like pelican storks that bring harvest throughout the land. So these birds are all holding a little bit of bounty that they bring to other portions of my world just to kind of feed the population, because this is supposed to be the god of agriculture and all that sort of stuff. So I wanted to kind of come up with a creative way to bring food throughout the entire world. I have another one right over there and another one in behind there that you guys can't see from this angle. But taking a look at the salmon run, progressively making its way all the way up here, you guys can see that we have a bear teaching his little one how to fish. And as we work our way all the way up here, This is where the aquifers pour down into, where we have a little bit of a lush environment with a beaver, of course. Right here is the center of the whole island. I'll take you guys across the bridge over to that area, and then we'll fly our way up there. But you guys can see I have the other plork over there. And this just has a very gorgeous view of the entire Mossa on the other end of the lake, or ocean, I guess you could say. I have some corn growing up over here, the cascading waterfalls coming down here, and the bridge that goes all the way across here to this little gazebo type area where I have an egg. Now this egg is going to be tied to some additional lore in the future, but we're not there yet. As you guys can tell, I love using micro blocks and armor stands to convey another layer of story to a lot of these builds. But we're now up here where I have a nice little cherry tree. I have a little bit of a circle thing going on around here. I don't know what these things are called, but I thought it was pretty cool. We'll fly down to this layer in particular, and we'll cross the bridge over here, where we have another little circle thingy. This is just very Greek. We have Freya over here having a nice little view of the ocean. And then this is the seed vault. So let's see if I can nail the parkour going up to the seed vault first try. I don't know, but I have a little bit of a parkour journey going all the way up here that leads into the seed vault. Coming down here. Oh, you guys may have noticed I didn't have to jump to go up that, huh? That's because I have fence posts right underneath here that help me do that. This is the interior of the seed vault where I have a bunch of the seeds being placed. I've used tricky lighting, so I've got candles to help light up a lot of the area up there. Up here in particular, that's just going to be dark forever. I have the rare Deku tree seed, so we're going to be planting that for a mega tree in the future. I have apples and other types of seeds, melons and mushrooms and pumpkin seeds over here. Nice little decorative wall pieces that are not the same. None of these are the same, actually. More seeds over here on display. Working our way back over here, you can see that George is on his throne, hanging out. And this is actually where I got my second whole diamond zombie in the world. So I thought, you know what? We'll give him a boat. This guy is holding a hoe. I think you guys get the reference. But that is the seed vault of my world, which I absolutely love. But now that we're done that, I think we're going to progressively make our way towards the city next and change it up a little bit. So we're going to be working our way across this field. One day, I'll be expanding this city for as far as you can see. This city has only gone through 2 expansions so far, but each expansion, I feel, is getting better than the last. This street right here in particular, this road is actually the industrial district, a little bit more modern, a little bit more redstone central. I have a bunch of different farms in here. I'll just tell you guys what they are. I won't show you guys, but behind this building right here, I have a melon and pumpkin farm. I have a ton of interiors in here as well, and we'll go through all of those as we progress through the city. But this is a project where I wanted to improve upon my modern building. This was built 3 years ago, and you guys are going to see a pretty stark difference between what I was building back in the day to buildings that I'm building nowadays. It's a pretty big difference. Over here, we have an Airbnb. So if anybody needs a place to stay, they could do that right in here. I also wanted to improve upon building vehicles in the world, which I think I did so. A little bit of a Vespa shop where if you want to buy a Vespa, you can do so right there. I've got little Vespas ripping around the city as well. Ambulances, buses, you name it. I've got everything. This is the spa and recovery area, which I think I'm going to do that with my food bar as we speak. That's better. Anyways, let's progress on through the city. You guys can see I've got a nice little bus right here, an ambulance there. I have a Japanese restaurant right over here. Where we come inside of here, it's just a nice little storefront with a little samurai sword, a tabanaki back here. That guy who will literally die inside the wall if I get any closer. But I thought that this build in particular turned out looking absolutely fantastic. Let's work our way through here a little bit more. I have an alleyway with a bunch of graffiti and some cats. I have an art gallery in here that I had to get rid of all the paintings, unfortunately, because I did have to change my mod for that. I don't use the painting mod anymore. I have a police car right here with a canine unit. I have a little food truck right here serving some food. Fire truck. Christmas train over there. If I wanted to come inside of this big building right here, this is a redstone facility, so I'll do some redstone testing. I have an elevator that goes all the way up there, but I don't want this world tour running for about 12 hours, so we're just gonna fly up here. We have over here who's collecting a bunch of high ticket items. We have a couple redstone designs that I've come across, which are integral, I think, to creating all different kinds of redstone throughout my world. This is like a 1-second clock, which I thought was amazing. Almost done with just this strip of the city. We're gonna come down here. We have an armored truck. I have a helicopter and a bunch of things on the roof that I'll show you guys here in a moment. This is a yoga studio with a little juice bar right here. Walking down here, we've got like kind of like the medical sign. This guy who broke his leg. We have a map over here. We've got the arcade. This is where you guys can come into here and start playing some games if you would like. I've got Boppa Chicken. I've got DDR. All of the stuff over here. I even got a stormtrooper that's being shot at by a snow golem. This eye right here actually connects over to a farm. So right back here, this is actually my cactus farm. I have a flower farm up there as well. And as you guys can see, it is jam-packed. So we'll never have to worry about green dye ever again. We have an alleyway right through here, which is going to connect us to the other part of the city. A little bit of a shady alley. We got an Amanda's on van. This is Amanda right here, and a little bit more graffiti as we progress through here. Right here is the Christmas train. I built this on Christmas, I think maybe 3 years ago. This was my very first train I ever built in Minecraft, and I love the way that this guy turned out. It is basically bringing in all kinds of gifts into the city. So we've got some carts that are completely full of presents. We have giant presents as well. We're also bringing in these little snowmen over here. Christmas trees, of course, more presents, gingerbread houses down here. And for those who aren't doing too well on Christmas, I got some coal as well. Crossing the train tracks, we have our very first shop right here, which is going to come in handy in just a moment because it is nighttime. This is the bed shop. So this bed shop just basically sells bed. It's called the Beds, Blankets, and Beyond shop. Coming in here, we've got a whole storefront, and I'm going to go to sleep. But as you guys can see, I've tried my best to incorporate all the new blocks in the game. When 1.21.4 dropped, I used the new Creaking Heart, the new Pale Log, and you guys can also see I've got a little bit of resin sprinkled on some of the bushes as well, which I really like the way that turned out. Right next to it, we have another shop. This is supposed to be the convenience store that has a bunch of plants inside. So if we ever need to buy like mushrooms or whatever it may be, you could find that in here. We have the Daily Squeaks employee over here trying to sell the Daily Squeaks paper. A little bit of a fire exit so we can access all the interiors of those areas that are not built yet. I have the Candy Crane right here, built on Christmas as well. This candy crane, I love the way it turned out. I love building cranes in Minecraft. This one in particular is moving a gingerbread house, which I thought turned out pretty damn snazzy, if I might say. before we move over to this building, in this building, we're going to look at this building real quick. So this building is the toy factory. The toy factory that produces toys for Christmas and gets delivered to the city every single year. I did a massive special event over on my Twitch channel where people can get a free armor stand and become an NPC over here. This place turned out absolutely phenomenal and I love the way it looks. Over here, we have the post office. So if we enter into the post office like this, we have a nice fancy carpet. For those of you guys who are wondering how that's done, in Java, you can place down a bamboo sign and then throw some carpet on top. And then this is the post office where you can drop off all of your presents and then have them delivered throughout the world. Over here, we have a nice little wheelie cart being wheeled away from an elf, where we got a nice voodoo doll and a jack-in-a-box right here, and a couple other little things going on back here. At the front of the store, we have the whole storefront to the toy barn. We have Wicked over here taking orders and writing stuff down, making sure that everything gets delivered nicely. These two little individuals building a Mumbo bot. And then we have a bunch of other things that are on display as well. And people who are ordering things. I have a giant vacuum that is bringing up all of these presents, which then connects over to this conveyor belt, where the conveyor belt brings all the gifts over here and then dumps into the warehouse where all of our, what are these things called? Forklifts are coming in from. And we have the Christmas truck with a forklift also piling in gifts. So we have the gifts coming in here, falling into the back side of the truck. This is the front side, bringing on all that holiday spirit. This truck was a lot of fun to build. I love building trucks. We have the North Star over here on the antenna. We got the twin turbo, or whatever you want to call that. The sirens to get around quick. And of course, it even comes fully equipped with an interior, with a steering wheel, gas pedals, the keys to the ignition, and even a sweet tune to play, which I'm not going to play because it's a little bit loud for YouTube. But that is the toy barn right over here, the workshop. This building over here, this red one, this is the banner shop. This is where I can make and craft all of the banners throughout my world. So there is a lot of banners you can basically craft, and I've got quite a few of them, and I even have a lot of these barrels pretty much full of different styles of banners for whatever we're working on in the world. This big thing with the Nan sheep, this is actually my sheep farm I was referring to earlier. This one produces about 3,300 wool an hour per sheep. So I have the corresponding wool right here, and then I have all of these boxes completely full with more in the back of every single color that you guys see displayed here on the floor. And then I even have more here on the side. I have a naturally generated pink sheep here because, of course, and I've tried to incorporate a lot of the new blocks as well. You'll see a very common theme across the way. We have the exact same thing, except these are just different colors of wool. So if you guys want to check out that farm, I'll try to link it down in the description so you guys can build yourself a crazy sheep farm as well. We have the ghost shop over here. This is the little Phasmophobia shop. If you guys play Phasmo, let me know in the comments below on how I did with this thing. But we have the Ghostbuster mobile right here. We got the ghost bike right over here. And as we enter, of course, it has a full interior where you have like ghost orbs, summoning circle, the potato that you'll find inside of Tanglewood, and then like the spirits in there. Don't look at the wheat sign though. And then a bunch of other little things that you guys can buy for your Phasmo adventure. We have a bunch of micro blocks which are all haunted in a way. We have a ghost chasing somebody with somebody hiding around the corner. Scooby-Doo and Shaggy, of course. This is the ghost van over here that's ready to take off. I'm going to have a little bit of an homage to Impulse, Gemini Tay, and Sizzleman back here. Sizzleman? That doesn't sound right. Skizzleman. I'm an idiot. Anyways, I'm sure I'm going to hear about that in the comments. I think it'll be like kind of a really cool thing to add in there because I do watch them quite a bit when they play Phasmo. This is the Daily Squeaks over here. So we have the Daily Squeaks news van being loaded up with a bunch of papers. And then in here, this is where all the new studio stuff happens. So we have a little bit of a smorgasbord of snacks for everybody. I have my little brigade of mice who help me deliver papers. This is where I'll stand if I need to report anything for the news. This is the Daily Squeaks being written by Abra. And then we have any mod updates happening with Kool-Aid. So that is the Daily Squeaks. Moving on down here, I've got a few additional buildings. These buildings are really fun as well. This is the cakery. So this is a cake shop. And I love the way that this looks. Absolutely phenomenal. It's a cake shop that basically sells, well, you guessed it, cakes. Has an interior, kind of like an old 50s interior with all the pink and the checkerboard. And we're going to have like a cool like menu back here of all the cool sweets that you guys can name after yourselves. So if you guys want to do that, feel free to do so in the comments below. If you want to have your own menued item up here. Coming through here. I also have myself a little bit of an ice cream truck that is also selling cake as well. This is the, oh, and then like an accidental, you know, whoopsie doodle right there. So this is run by Bunny, which is amazing. This is the library with Larry. Larry is our caterpillar, supposed to be kind of like our bookworm kind of guy. He's hanging out. He's even got a little top hat on. He's amazing. Coming on in here, this is the interior of the library. Where you guys can see, we just kind of got some cozy vibes. Some tadpoles hanging out. Some axolotls just chilling. Just a nice little interior. And then across the way, we have the theater with a limousine out front with all the celebrities. But right now we have the Batman playing inside of the theater. We have Star Wars. We have No Face, I think, or maybe that's Phantom something, Phantom of the Opera. I have SpongeBob, of course. We have Wicked, Cats, and what is this one? Nightmare Before Christmas, all playing in the theater at some point. We have a bunch of headless celebrities because I haven't done that redemption yet. Little bit of a paparazzi, taking some photos of some of the celebrities. Ticket booth. And right here is the play that is actually playing, which is The Dark Knight, which I love the way that the interior of this guy looked. Using the stairs as curtains, I think turned out really nice. But let's take a little bit of an overhead view of the city with our map. And you guys can see that a lot of this place has developed over the years, but I do plan to take up the entire area and continuously keep expanding the city. But now that it's nighttime, I've got a cool farm to show you. So this farm is not much of a looker, but this is how I get all of the resin in my world. You guys may be asking, what do I need all the resin for? Well, I'll show you guys exactly why in the future when we make our way over to the volcano, because resin looks just like lava. But that should be all there is to see inside the city for now. Let's start moving into our next location now. The Sculklands. Welcome to the Sculklands. So as you guys can see way off in the distance here, these two buildings are in the midst of the Sculklands, but we are currently on the very top of a volcano that I've been building up for quite some time. This is my current project over on Twitch. It is going to be Lord of Dragon Mountain. And where you guys can see the copper behind me as a little bit of a gradient, that is going to be a dragon temple. I'm going to have some really cool gargoyles down here as well. And then I have the cascading lava falls behind me. I then have a giant Fabergé dragon egg right here. It's supposed to be an elder dragon egg with a bunch of lava around it. I'm going to have these really cool pillars going around the dragon egg. And then I'm going to have a really cool dragon market selling nice dragon eggs as well. So if I haven't said dragon enough already, I'm going to be dragging us on over to these two builds over here. Below, I'm going to be carrying on the Sculk. So we're going to see a bunch of skeletons. This is a little bit of a rough draft of a skeleton that I've got so far. Right here is a statue. This statue actually holds the fire resistant potions that you're going to need going into the volcano build. Shifting our focus on over here, we have two of the builds that are part of the Sculklands. So this build over here is the factory, the dilapidated factory, kind of a rundown factory that was abandoned long ago. And over here is my gothic castle where I keep all of my mobs. But I think we're going to start things off over here at the factory. And then we'll get into a little bit of the lore of what started the Sculklands. So as you guys can see, I have a bit of a freight train coming on through here, bringing in a bunch of sand and gravel, but there's a reason for that. I have a nice crane. I've got TNT going on in here. I've got a busted down door. I have explorers. I've got everything. Right in here, this is what houses my concrete farm. So that's what the sand and the gravel's for and all the TNT. This is a TNT Duping concrete farm. So I craft up all the TNT and I load it all into here. And then I just run it to get all the concrete to build up different parts of my world. And that gets all collected right here. And then I pop them inside of a shulker box and then I get on with my day. Down below here, you guys can see I've got a lava farm that is heavily in use because of the volcano I'm currently building, where I just store all of the buckets of lava just down below. I have my cocoa bean farm right here. So if I ever need any brown dye, I've got that covered as well. Carrying on into here, this is the bamboo farm that is set up with an auto crafter. The auto crafter then creates all the bamboo blocks. And then if I ever need any wood, I kind of come over here and I grab what I need. Across the way, I have 2 kelp farms, a cactus farm, and a dripstone farm, which all do a fantastic job on keeping me fully stocked up on all the resources I may need. So the idea behind the factory was not only to create a dilapidated, rundown factory, but the main idea was, since I don't AFK, was while I'm converting concrete over here, I'm also doing lava, cocoa beans, kelp, dripstone, cactus, bamboo, and a lot more in the area. So I'm kind of multitasking, if you will. So coming out here, I have a giant vat. So let me see if I can make this jump. This is like a toxic little like bit of water that's been in here for quite some time. I have a conveyor belt kicking off a bunch of sand and stuff along there. And we'll take a little bit of a closer look. I have a sign with like a little bit of a crane and a city skyline type deal going on over there. And I wanted to kind of create something that was very old school, but worked out very beautifully in the end. We have the rundown clock, the smoke effect coming out here with the wind pushing it to the side. And here, this is where I want to have a bunch of auto crafters crafting up different items for me. Mainly redstone components or iron components. Very empty right now. I have a silverfish farm where I have a bunch of allays back there. So if I ever need like any levels on the go, I just kind of come over here. So that is the factory inside the Sculklands. Over here, I have a really cool spider farm, but we'll get into that in just a moment. So as I said before, the volcano over there is based off a dragon. This right here is the elder dragon that started the Sculklands. For those you guys who know who and how Sculk actually works, well, when something dies, it drops a bunch of experience. And if there's a catalyst nearby, that is what creates Sculk. So the Sculk has overtaken all of the land around here. The Sculk is supposed to be a little bit corrosive and eaten away and kind of take it over, if you will. Kind of like mycelium, like it's its own entity or whatever that may be. I'm not a scientist, but anyways, it's cool, you know what I mean? Right here in the entrance of the castle, I have my blazes right here. They all have like glass panes inside of their head so they can't escape or anything. I just recently caught this guy, which was a certified pain in the neck. You guys could probably hear that. It's a breeze. He was a little annoying to get out of the trial chamber. And he looks like he can still see me, which is odd. I have my skeleton horses inside of the skull of the dragon. And let me see if I can... Oh, this is such an awkward way of getting through. I have ravagers inside of the rib cage right back here. Take a closer look at the top of the castle. I have a elder guardian right there. And I have a warden who's right in here. I'll get it close enough so you guys can hear him. Yeah, I'm not going to stick around long enough for him to blast me. He's already done that before. But I absolutely love the way that this build turned out. It's one of my favorites. It's got the beacons and the warden chest as a big giant doorway. And we can access it through there. But we're going to be accessing it through this way because I want to show you guys the train that brings in all of the mobs. So this was my second train I ever built in the world. I've got camels. I have allays. I have a bunch of workers back here doing their job, working and packing things up. I have the polar bears, the sniffers, and of course I have the engine of the train over here, which I'm very happy with the way that everything turned out with this guy in particular. I especially love the lightning rods here. Let me see if I can give you guys a little bit of a different perspective on that, but I really like the way it turned out. My second train ever, very different from the very first train that I built, which was the Christmas train. And of course, the entire castle has an interior. I know that the floors are very, very different. I tried using a little bit of help. I have a charge creeper up there in the fence. I have every single cat. So if I ever need to breed up any cats, I have anxiety right above my head. Love that. All of the wolves over here as well. I have a wither Skele. I think this guy's a right-handed wither Skele, so he doesn't really count. Right across here, I have almost a diamond mob. Accessing this area. This guy is super, super old, so he's been in my world for many years now. So I definitely can't be giving him up. I have a bunch of drowned guys in here. I have the Warden story, where the Warden's supposed to be a nice guy who's just really misunderstood and is supposed to be the guardian of the underworld. I'm just going to kind of move away from those guys because they're very annoying. As he looks up to the overworld with like the wandering trader, the clouds and everything like that, it's supposed to be a misunderstood story where he's got his wife, his babies, and everything like that hanging out. A little bit of a mural. We have a worried panda hanging out. All the parrots kind of chilling out on the tree all throughout here. I don't know if I have anything inside of the water. I feel like I had a drowned in here somewhere. Yes, this guy, Vexbeat. That actually used to be a zombie. I was moving him and then the whole thing went crazy. Right over here, I have a bunch of shulkers, which were a certified pain in the neck to move into the overworld, but we done did it. And I don't have a shulker farm yet, so at least now I have a couple additional shulkers that I could use for that. Down here, I have Blitz hanging out on his throne with myself and Zopa as his right hand and left hand guards. Oh, this guy is actually a left-handed Skele. Speaking about left-handed, I also have a bunch of upside down phantoms hanging out up there. Got Sonic ripping on by, so SB, if you're watching this, there's your little bit of a cameo of Sonic, because I know you were saying, what the heck's up with this dude in Mario? Well, there's Sonic. Across the way, I have my Zoglins and the Bastion over here. I kind of did the same thing with the Warden, except this is a little bit of the Nether side of things. So That's everything I think there is to see inside the castle. So I'm going to go to bed real quick and I'll show you guys the spider lab. So the laboratory is supposed to be down inside of a trapdoor spider hole, and I've never been able to fully make this jump without hitting a spider web, and today's not going to be that day. So coming on down into here is a little bit of a forgotten lab where I have a very unique spider farm down here. So this is supposed to be a gene splicing area where they're trying to combine bees and spiders. I know, terrifying, but we have a bunch of brewing stands over here so I can make the new weaving potions, which is really nice for when I need to make cobwebs, because we can actually farm up the cobwebs here. I have some Netherwart. I have this spider bee who is escaping, and then of course I have the farm just back here. I got extremely lucky with this farm. I have 4 poison spider spawners. I have armadillos lining all of the walls to make sure that the spiders don't crawl up, even though they still do from time to time. So let me show you guys a little bit on how this farm works. So as you guys can see, I have a bunch of spiders who are going to start piling up around here. I have a dispenser with water so I can push them away from the magma blocks here in the center. I have the weaving potions right here. So what I will do is I'll wait for a bunch of these spiders to basically pile up, and then I'll splash them with the weaving potion. They'll die on the magma blocks and they'll all turn into cobwebs. So let me show you guys exactly how that works. Pretty cool, huh? Fairly self-explanatory. I have the bullseye blocks right above the copper lights that light the spawners up to turn off the farm. I have the all lays who will bring me all of the string, which is very nice to have, because I don't know if you guys noticed this, but I don't see all lays getting used very often. I then can come over here. I can hit that button right here and that will distract the all lays. So I can easily escape. It's just super annoying. So we'll be leaving from here. Okay, time to see if I can make my way out of here without hitting a single cobweb, and it looks like I can. All right, moving on past the Sculklands, which, remember, is heavily under development, and there's going to be a lot of things coming together behind me. But over here, this is actually my spawn chunks. This is where it all begun. This village right here used to be a thriving village before I came in here, ransacked the entire place. Then I put cobwebs, boarded up all the windows, and made it look a little bit more abandoned. But back in the day, this village is what helped me get to the place I'm at today. Over here, this is going to be called the Frostpunk region, because there's a big part of this area that is kind of filled up with a bunch of ice and snow. So I kind of have to work with that. I have an airship right over here. And that airship also not only houses my nether portal that I'll be going through later today, because I'll take you to my nether hub after this, but gives me a really good vantage point of my iron farm. My iron farm did get corrupted at one point. Unfortunately, my computer completely blue screened on me at one point. And you guys can see it took out a fairly substantial chunk of my iron farm and plopped what it thought belonged there. But all in all, doesn't look too bad, and the farm still works, which is really nice. If you guys look at the floor here, I got inspired to build a floor that had a bunch of gears in it, which I absolutely love. I thought it looked kind of like a watch from back in the day. Since the spawn chunks were reduced with one of the updates that I can't really remember off the top of my head, if you guys remember, let me know in the comments just so we can tell people exactly when the spawn chunk change did happen. Then we can tell them. But we have turtles over here where I used to basically breed up a bunch of turtles and then have them hatch. But the spawn chunks used to be 21 by 21 chunks. They're now officially only 3. I have a furnace array over here, which I absolutely have. I don't think I've ever used, to be honest, but it was kind of nice to have in here. Or maybe it was 19 by 19 chunks. I don't remember exactly, but I had to remove where my iron farm used to be. I have a really cool idea of building a big, giant, transforming battle bot right here with a bunch of arms, basically crafting it up. I think that'd be a really nice way to kind of make this whole area look like it's natural, because I can have the battle bot kind of breaking out of the side of the wall, which I think would be very cool. I have a honeycomb farm over here, which doesn't work anymore because it's not within the spawn chunks. Across the way, I have a couple of shulkers kind of hanging out here too. Well, across the way, I did have a honey farm, but lost a good 25% of it. This used to be where the actual farm was located. It sounds like I still have the redstone hooked up over here, which is, well, a little odd. I should probably disconnect that. I thought I would have had a piece of glass above my head to stop all the rain, but here we are. I have a bunch of other little robots being built up. So this is supposed to be kind of like a little showroom to showcase some of the robots that we've crafted along the way. Iron Man suits. We got flying robots, all that kind of cool stuff. And then the same thing on this side as well, where I have, I think this guy's name is, Chad, because that's the total Chad. We have Brad over here because obviously that's Brad. And then we have Sparky and Awkwardtron, just because he just kind of looks awkward. Right here is where I actually moved the iron farm. Let me see if I can at least see what redstone I have kicking. Oh, I see what's going on. Down here. Bloop. So this is actually where the new iron farm basically is set up. It's very, very crude, but it's functional. I have an auto crafter that will pretty much just craft up all of the iron blocks all the way down. I don't remember the exact rates of this farm, but I know it's definitely enough to keep me afloat. Making our way back over here onto the airship, we can start taking ourselves into the Nether, where I can show you guys the Netherhub. But be forewarned, the Netherhub is massive. Hi. So not only do I have different tunnels for different places of my world to kind of indicate where we are going, but this is the central hub itself, where I have a gorgeous chandelier right here as a nice little centerpiece to the whole thing. I have the 4 wardens up here inside of the cages. They all have toys right now because I will be revamping the chains above them. So they are in every single corner. I'm not close enough to basically trigger these guys. For those of you guys who are wondering, it's about 16 to 20 blocks from the warden is the distance of its sonic boom. I have redstone dust over here that is basically helping me spawn proof this entire thing. I love the way that the floor turned out. I think it turned out absolutely fantastic. I have my main nether portal that brings me back to my base with the Shrieker. So I'm just going to go ahead and just quickly turn this guy all the way down to 5% so we don't have to listen to wardens all day. Okay, where were we? Yes, the portal and the Shrieker. I have a bunch of really cool fog effects. Like this is supposed to be a void effect. Down here is a little bit more of a cyan look. I have ancient debris all throughout the walls down here. Beautiful building block. I have a nice blood red look. And of course, it all comes fully equipped with an interior. So if I walk into the Shrieker, you can see a bunch of nameplates that we're about to walk into here very, very soon. This is the central area of my hub. Each and every one of these directions takes us to a different location of the Netherhub. So we have the Archives of the Dead, so a little bit of an underground library. Over here, I have the room where we basically punish the dead. So I have a bunch of left-handed skellies in here, I think. Yeah, these ones are all lefties. We have Melee here who kind of hangs out, but I've got a bunch of left-handed skellies. I have a fun room in here. Coming on down here. right over here. This is the throne room for Systematically and Sam, and with an upside down ghost, yes, an upside down ghast right above their head with a bunch of chains kind of like cascading down. Everybody has one of these little tombs, and then she has all of her guards basically guarding them while they're on their throne. We have a screaming goat with one horn right here. I think his name is Uni. No, that's not Uni. Right on cue. Back here, I have the Book of the Dead. So this is basically where I have to buy myself totems in the world, because I don't just slap on new totems. I have the Nether portals with all the souls coming out, with Amanda looking on in here very ominously. Speaking about totems, I haven't used a totem or popped a totem in over 3 years in this world. Or actually 2.5 years. I'm almost at 3 years. So it's been quite some time since I've actually popped a totem. Coming through here, I have a morgue. So this is a embalming table right here. We also have ourselves a area. What is this place called again? Where you burn up bodies and they turn them into ash. Don't know what that's called again. We have a little like place that's a little gurney where we can move people around. And inside some of these little areas, you'll find little banners of ghosts looking back at you, which I thought was a really, really nice touch. Oh, a cremation area. That's the name. We also have a nice little coffee station with some sugar and stuff. Hand washing area and a bio waste that takes things off into the void, basically. I don't know where it goes, but it goes in there. And lastly, before we leave, you guys will notice that I have a bunch of hearts going all the way around the hub, slowly losing more and more life as we make our way around. It's supposed to be symbolic of life and death, since this is the place where I try to earn back a totem. But let's go into an area where I don't quite have a tunnel linked up yet. I'm going to take you guys over to where I get all of the snow in my world. Yes, the Ice Cathedral. Heavily inspired by the Cologne Cathedral and the St. Patrick's Cathedral, as you'll see as we go around. I never build anything out in the ice or snow regions of Minecraft, so this was definitely a substantial challenge, to say the least. But I have the 3 dragons, Aurora, Boris, and Alice. So it's to be symbolic of the Aurora Borealis that happens out here, where I guess it would be kind of like the North Pole, huh? But this was a massive challenge. This guy goes all the way up to build limit. I have beacons up here. I have stars up here. It looks absolutely gorgeous with shaders. I'll see if I can get you guys a little bit of a flashback mod replay of that, because, well, shaders don't really like my game, but I absolutely love the way that this guy turned out. Let's take a look on the inside of the cathedral. I wanted this build to kind of be like kind of something that takes up the background of what I want to do in the future, which is going to be building an entire village right over here, and having the cathedral kind of like in the background being very imposing. I thought was a lot of fun. So let's fly her up around here. Actually, I'll show you guys a little bit of a closer look of the front, because you guys didn't really get a good look at that yet. So one day I want to add into the inside of the tunnel here. So I want to have an ice cave going in here where I'm going to have a bunch of really cool ice dragons and whatnot. And there's a couple really cool trial chambers down there as well. But also from down here, it is absolutely massive. It's crazy. Making our way over here to the side here, you guys can see what we got going on around here. I love the way that this all turned out. I think it looks absolutely gorgeous. I have a little bit of the snow starting to pile up over here. Had a lot of fun with the rooftop and working everything. Oh, this was also my very first build that was on an angle, which I'm very impressed with how it turned out. I learned a lot building this build on an angle. I'm not so intimidated by angles anymore. I also think that this is a great view of this dragon right over here. But let's take a little bit of a closer look on the interior of the cathedral, because there's quite a bit going on in here. There's a lot to unpack. So there are a few additional changes I would like to make with this whole area. Some areas are a little bit darker than other areas, so there needs to be a little bit more better lighting. I may have forgotten. Yeah, it doesn't look like I have the end rods back there. Or am I supposed to have the end rods back there? I don't know what's going on with that exactly. Why are you so dark? That's strange. Anyways, I digress. Over here, I have a throne. This is going to be for Doug, the king over the frost. I'm going to have a dragon here and a dragon here once I figure out how to build dragons on an angle. So thanks to Doug for that one. Over here, this chandelier. I want to make this probably about 3 times as big. Make that way bigger. I have an organ, which I think was a pretty big challenge trying to build an organ on a 45-degree angle. Like I said, this is my very first time ever building anything on an angle. But this is supposed to be an organ. I'm going to kind of build it up even more. Behind the organ, I have a snow golem. And this snow golem, basically, as long as I'm standing on these pressure plates here, will provide me with snow blocks to my heart's content. But all in all, I am absolutely in love with the way that this build turned out, and I had a blast building it. Let me know what you guys think of the cathedral, and let me know what you guys would like to do in this area. What would you guys add inside of an icy, snowy area with 3 ice dragons? Because I'm very curious if we have the same kind of frame of thought, if you will, where I'm going to build like a really cool, like little, like, I guess more of like a cozy vibe area where a village will be right here. And then we can have that taking the background. But let's go from ice to pirates and dwarves. Now, where we're going next is going to be connected to the Netherhub right here. This is the Ocean Monument Tunnel, but a little bit down the Ocean Monument Tunnel, if we take ourselves a little bit of a left halfway down, this is the pirate tunnel. So I've got a little bit of a water effect with some little rocks and a beach on this side. And these little like pirate ships supposed to be symbolic of where we're going. If we go beyond here, there is also a Aztec temple, a bee castle, and a lot more stuff to go down here. But we're going to start things off right through this portal where I'll show you guys my pirate and dwarven region. So this guy is going to be heavily under development for quite some time because I have a lot of pirate ships that I want to build out here. But right here in this central pirate area, this area in particular is very inspired by One Piece. I thought there was a very different way of going about building pirates in Minecraft rather than going down the generic route. So things are a little bit more colorful here, and it's a little bit more food central. So let me see if I can land right on top of the diner so we can take a little bit of a closer look at the lighthouse. So this place was long abandoned and has been built up with shipwrecks along the years. I have a nice little like opening area that gets connected over to this like cantilevering bridge slash rickety scaffolding thing that's connected to the lighthouse. I have a little bit of a boat over here, and the lighthouse itself is supposed to be extremely busy with little tarps on top of it. I think that this build turned out absolutely phenomenal, and I really love it. These little like round thingies are supposed to be like giant tires from tugboats and whatnot, but it's all supposed to be kind of like almost like a post-apocalyptic thrown together vibe, which I think turned out really well. Across the way, I have the Pegasus. This is a 5-star restaurant out here in the all blue. We'll get into that in here in just a moment. Down here is the diner. So the diner is basically like a faster way for kind of rowboats to come on in here, park their way at the diner, and grab a quick bite to eat. Run by Scoville, and I think this guy's name is Merle or Earl or whatever we named him. I didn't actually name tag him, I guess. It's a little bit of a diner back here, but I really like the way that this all turned out. Across the way, I have a fishing shop. So if you ever want to buy yourself some fish stuff, you guys can do that here. It's called the Bait and Swish shop. And I think this one was called the Walk the Plank Diner. They have pretty good names. And here I have a full interior where you guys can buy all kinds of fishing rods or whatever it may be, can all be found inside of here. Across here, I have a, well, this one's a little bit difficult to see, so let me kind of give you a better look. This is supposed to be, it's green, so I should have went with a different color with this. It's supposed to be a tugboat that's supposed to bring us up to the next level here. So if I crawl up here, there's a tugboat, and in the front of the tugboat, I have a bridge that connects us up to this region of the build. But it didn't really turn out the best. I really like it, but I think it could be a little bit more visible. Right next to it, I have a steamboat, which is supposed to be our general shop here. Really had a lot of fun building this guy. So let's take a little bit of a closer look in here. It's called the Broken Drum. Falling into here, this is the interior to the shop where we can basically buy like suits or whatever it may be, jars of dirt, anything that you guys can really think of. It could be found here in the general shop. And then, of course, we have a nice little map of the island up there. Moving on over to here, you have a little bit of a pirate digging for gold. I have the Monarch. This is supposed to be like a butterfly boat with caterpillar sails. I'll show you guys what that looks like here in a moment. We'll work our way up this area. So I wanted this island to kind of flow really, really nice. This is also a boat, which has a very nice view of where we're going to be going next, the Dwarven Kingdom, off in the distance over there. I have a little bamboo bungalow thingy down there. I'm not going to show you guys that one too close up because it's not the most good looking one I've got. This guy, it's just supposed to be just a very dilapidated area. And then I've got a pirate ship that's been split right in half. And this is the Hidden Pearl. This is supposed to be a little bit of a place where you come to grab some drinks at the end of the day. A couple wobbly pops, kind of sit down at the bar with some friends and grab a nice drink and have a nice bite to eat. Which leaves us down to two last buildings, the Pegasus and the bakery. So let me fly up over here now. Give you guys a little bit closer look at the bakery. This is the Dave's Dankery over here. And we have normal guy who's working tirelessly to make a bunch of sweets for the rest of the island. Sounds like I may have a wandering trader here as well, potentially. I don't know where he's at. We have the unicorn right there. This is a little bit of a better look at the bakery here. So I have a giant mask thing coming over here with a big bee kind of hanging off the end there. I have a narwhal boat kind of off the side of the Pegasus. A little bit of a lighthouse and a little parcel. I think that's what they're called, like those big umbrellas. And this is one of the effects I absolutely love. This is a rainbow smoke effect coming out of the restaurant, which I thought was a very, very nice touch. And I really like the way that that chimney kind of comes up and out there. We're gonna fly into the back of the Pegasus up, where you can see Jugs and Carzy over here doing some karaoke. We got Sin over here being the guard, but this is supposed to be the area that we first walk into. We have the hostess. We have a little Jawa stealing some stuff and running off with somebody's suit. Nice little seating area here. We can have some fresh bread while you wait for a place to sit. And nothing but the finest lamps to light up the area. Little trolley for giving food to people. Normal guy again, because like I said, works tireless around here. Does a fantastic job. But let's make our way up to the other floors of the Pegasus, which don't have any stairs, so we kind of have to fly our way up here. We have Abby up here who privately cooks dinner for a bunch of people who hang out up in here with a little... Wait, what the heck are you doing up here, bro? Huh? Anyways, a little bit of a balcony looking down at the karaoke area where we have like a couple little tables so people can have a very personal fine dining experience and potentially learn how to cook along the way. Up here is the very top of the Pegasus where Zach is cooking private food, which I don't know if I would be eating what he's selling, but I guess you can say it's exotic, I guess. We have some chairs and some tables up here, a couple more like little lounge areas so you can kind of see a little closer look at the smoke effect over here. I don't even know how to get back there, but it's a nice little view from up here as well. I have my render distance cranked to 36 for this world tour, so it kind of shows you how far that is. I have a boat down here. This is a necromancy boat, so it's supposed to be kind of like an undead boat. I love the way that this guy turned out. Absolutely love the blossom logs as well, because it kind of gives a really cool purple look to it all. And then we have all of the wither skulls right here at the end of the cannons, which I think turned out fantastic. Let me make this jump, and it comes fully equipped with an interior as well. So I've got all of the cannons aligned up around the sides. I have the enchantment area back there, and then of course we have the captain's quarters right down here, which is for Flea, who has the respawn anchor, the all-seeing eye, and a really cool interior back here. We then have the Monarch, which, like I said before, this is the butterfly boat that I built for Amanda. She wanted something that was a little bit different from anything that I've ever seen. So I have a bunch of butterfly sails. I have the caterpillars up top. And then, of course, we have the captain's quarters, where she's overlooking our Alice in Wonderland island over here and our Christmas island. Two builds you guys haven't seen yet, but we'll be heading over there eventually, potentially after I show you guys what the Dwarven Kingdom looks like. And lastly, we have my crossbow, which I absolutely adore. Probably one of my favorite boats, but don't tell the others. I love the way that the sail turned out on this boat. He's got a giant telescope right here. You guys can see a little bit of the lens where he kind of looks up at the stars and sees all the constellations. And he's got his captain's quarters back here with his little spyglass as he's looking at all the cool things. The year of the snake. His ascension is all based around astrology, or no, zodiac signs, not astrology, zodiac signs. So don't tell him I said that. So hopefully he doesn't see this, but hopefully he does watch the world tour, you know? Lastly, we have the Dwarven Kingdom. We're just going to quickly start things off over here at the lighthouse. This lighthouse is supposed to be a haunted lighthouse inspired by Point Hope in Phasmophobia. But right over here, we have the 3 sirens that lure sailors into this rock where they will unfortunately meet their death. Across the way, we have the haunted lighthouse right here. I'm going to have an entire interior for that in the future. We have the Lady of the Lake inspired. So she's like the Lady of the Ocean. She's a ghost who lives here. We have the 3 graves for the sirens over here and a bunch of other spooky ghosts kind of flying around. And of course, a very freaky looking scarecrow. And now to shift our focus towards the Dwarven Kingdom. I absolutely adore this build, but I've said that quite a bit today, huh? Anyways, we have Armor Cross over here and his dog River hanging out over on his ship, which comes fully equipped with all the doodads, of course. But we got a bunch of pirates doing piratey stuff around here, kind of looting, scooting, walking into the Dwarven Kingdom. But what exactly are they doing in the Dwarven Kingdom? Nobody knows. These statues right here might be a little bit familiar to those of you guys who saw the Mossa. These are actual lodestones made with netherite ingots. I just need some sort of acknowledgement on that, because at the time, big flex. Nowadays, not so much. So I need this, you know what I mean? I need this, please. Please. But quickly, before we move on into the interior of the castle, I want to show you guys just the sheer amount of work that went into texturing and doing a gradient all around the castle, because this is probably one of the biggest gradients that I use going all the way up. And yes, those are backwards pistons. And I absolutely adore the way that this entire bridge kind of cascades all the way across. Here we have the wolves with the glass to kind of be symbolic of something really cold around here. I've even tried to make this area very functional by having a bunch of cauldrons so we can catch all the snow as well. Down here, as we cross the bridge, we got a pretty nice view of the entire ocean with the pirate island and the docks and everything as we make our way across. This side, don't look at that side. Don't look at that side, actually. Don't. If you look at it, you're banned. Anyways, I have the plushy pirates, which are my ferrets. They have like their own little boat right here, kind of hanging out, stealing all kinds of cool stuff. A very cool cave back here that I definitely want to build in eventually. I don't know what I'm going to be building in there. And then we have the Dwarven door, which a lot is going on back here. I got this super inconspicuous little button that I press that opens up the passage to the interior of the Dwarven Kingdom, which I absolutely love. It's about 700,000 blocks of stone descending down into the depths. I have the 3 hearts right here kind of carved into that surface right there. The wolf's paw with all of the magma blocks right there. I'm supposed to be an explorer with one of my moderators on my shoulders and Navi kind of hanging out. And it goes in even deeper into a central forge area. I've left a couple boxes here because there's a few things I still need to do around here. But we have ourselves a door on the left, a door in the middle, and a door on the right. So let's take a little bit of a closer look here at the forge. The central forge is supposed to be for Armor Cross. He is the king of wolves. Very cool. We have the forge as a little bit of his workshop, and he's making a really cool sword. I have a little bit of minecart action kind of making its way through here to kind of bring a little bit of life. If you guys have ever watched Skyrim, if you guys know anything about the Dwemer, which is the underground ancient civilization, I want to build that behind this door right here. And on the other side, I want to have a bunch of wizards and creatures being held behind enchanted doors behind here. Kind of like a little bit of like a Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings twist, if you will. This central door will be the main door to the Dwarven Kingdom. So I'm working my way upwards to 150 masons, where if we walk through here, you'll notice that I accidentally trimmed my chunks. I love that for me. But I did have like 150 masons in here at one point, but now it's all corrupt. I gotta like light up this entire area, and well, it's a flippin' nightmare. But anyways, you guys can see I've got a bunch of masons over here. I don't know if this is like maybe 25 masons over here. And then on the other side, I have another 25 masons right over here, unless they're all dead. Nope, they're still vibing. They're still vibing. I used to have the same thing on that side and the same thing on that side until I pretty much, well, I deleted it off the face of the earth. But that is the entire Dwarven Kingdom in all of its integrity. I love the way that this guy turned out, and I cannot wait to expand it. Oh, and also, it has a void effect down here as well. But now let's make our way all the way over to our Alice in Wonderland island, where I've got a couple more islands I'm looking forward to showing you. And of course, this is connected to the Nether hub just down there where the chandelier is. I have a charged creeper hanging out here and Bunny taking care of this little dude right here, doing a fantastic job. But if we come down this tunnel right here and go through this portal, we'll be at our islands. And right when we come through the portal, you guys can immediately get the vibes of Alice in Wonderland right out the gate. I have a cake right here as a centerpiece with the pocket watch, the rabbit, the monocle, the Mad Hatter's hat. This is supposed to be kind of from Beauty and the Beast with Mrs. Potts and Chip right here and a bunch of other things. I have the gas flying up overhead and of course the Cheshire Cat to tie it all in together. So let me give you guys a little bit of an overhead view of what this island looks like. Pretty cool, huh? This island was an absolute blast to build, and I can't wait to give you guys a little bit of a closer look at all the stuff that I have going on here. We have the Pixel Palace right here where Bunny resides. We have the kind of the Queen of Hearts castle over here with a very dangerous crown with a bunch of these guys up here and all that kind of stuff. But let's take a little bit of a closer look at the petting zoo that I have around here. I've got a bunch of baby mobs kicking around in here. Over here, I have the little baby goats, which were absolute menaces to keep in here, with a charged creeper running away. Having a bunch of pink blossom trees that kind of have such a beautiful vibe with all the leaves falling down and leaves all over the place. We have cookies, we have cake, we have pink sheep. We got Jeb sheep, which of course is now hidden. Small little sniffers and all lays, and I think I have these little baby turtles, yep, right there, kind of hanging out in the corner. They never leave here. We got Turtwig, Squirtle, and Blastoise, of course, but I have an even more special turtle to show you guys hanging out here in the middle of the area. So let me just jump over here. I have these little crabs kind of hanging out. I thought these things were amazing. Saw them on Pinterest, built them up. Thought they were awesome. A lot of these I think were designed by iPhelps. He's a fantastic builder, so massive shout out to him. Gonna put on a chest plate. Inside of this turtle here, I have this guy. His name is Carl. He lives in his little terrarium with his little plants, his water, mountains, and all that kind of stuff. We love Carl. He's amazing. We have the frog right here. It's supposed to be a little bit of a mini game where you take the fishing rod and you do stuff where you catch like fish and whatnot. But you know, single player. Mini games don't do too well in single player, you know what I mean? Little tree frog. Giant chessboard from Alice in Wonderland, which I think turned out pretty dang cool. We have a little goat. Another little mushroom chilling. Our rabbit with a giant carrot kicking around there. Our two raccoons. A little bit of a snowball fight happening over here between a bunch of friends, which was a lot of fun. I think I did this a couple Christmases ago with Ghostina, Hunter, and somebody else I can't remember the name of right now. Maybe Sir Sleeps a Lot or something. I'm not so sure. Little snowman right here kind of hanging out, and of course this little penguin chilling out here as well. Coffee shop. Call this this Jitters. Comes with an interior, of course. We can come in here, we can read the menu, we can buy whatever we want to buy in here, and then we can be on our way. Ice cream place with a very angry Enderman and two extremely sassy grumpy panda employees. We got Am, and there should be a Sam around here, is there not? Oh no, has she really left the place? Oh no, dude. I have a fox in here. I have Crush. I've got, who's this? Oh, that's apparently my future problem. Where the heck did my other panda go? I'm gonna have to find out where that other panda went. Probably kicking around here somewhere on the island, but I'm not exactly sure where she would be hanging out. It is Sam after all, so who knows? Right on over here, I have the donut place. This is where we sell donuts, and this is also where I have a goat. Yeah, there he is. Thought I lost him as well. We got a goat that kind of just hangs out over there. We have a map of the island right here. It's actually a heart-shaped island. That was naturally generated, which was perfect. This is a treasure box. This is supposed to be a little bit of a casino. Coming on in here. We have a central little area. I think I have a really rare trident. Where's he at? Hello? Can you look at me, please, sir? Yeah, he has a trident, and he also has a nautilus shell. Makes him a little bit more rare. I named him Flip because I was freaking out. Oh, nothing's in there. We got pool tables, dartboard, poker tables, some paintings up on the wall, but there's not a whole lot else going on in here. Now, let's take a little bit of a closer look at this area, which is Pixel Palace, if I can walk straight. And I also need to get these pork chops in. I'm freaking out, dude. That's better. All right. Pixel Palace. We have the rabbits on both sides of the palace here. I have Tweedledee and Tweedledum. We have our flamingos. And as we walk up in here, we have the soul gem from one of Bunny's favorite animes. Don't know which anime it is. And if you know what it is, let me know, because I don't. The mushroom axolotl aquariums, one going up this side. And then, of course, the other one going up that side. And then she has her tea table where she can have tea and cake with all of her friends. And you guys may hear that, but I also have a warden all the way up here as well. This one's name is Bestie, I believe. It was a lot of fun to move in here. Good time. Love moving wardens, but I'm out of here. I just had to quickly sleep, but it's a perfect time to show you guys my crib. I built this a few Christmases ago. This is my gingerbread house over on the Winter Island. I also have all of the reindeer with their own little gingerbread houses that they live in all around here. And I have a bunch of people building snowmen, kind of like what we did with the city, where I built up a bunch of armor stands for people who showed up on Christmas. But I think that this build in particular is one of my best houses yet. I have the Grinch trying to steal my buttons. I also have another Grinch over there, multiple Grinches kind of hanging out on my on here. This is supposed to be Rudolph's red nose, and this is supposed to be an S and a C for Santa Claus. And I really like the way that this all turned out. Making our way across here. Oh, actually, I'll show you guys the bridge real quick. So this, or the map. This isn't a bridge, but we will be going over the bridge. That's the map. Say hi to the map. Hi, map. We got ourselves a little bit of a bridge. We got people looking at the house from over here, kind of sitting down, enjoying some hot cocoa. And then I've got a bunch of other random houses throughout here. We have a Tuscan style house. Built this one up for Luscious. It looks like I need to get rid of these paintings, unfortunately. So we're just going to do that up. And then I'm just going to chuck them down there. Hopefully she's not watching this, but hopefully she is, you know. She's got a nice like little living room in here. And she's got a back patio area where she can kind of hang out, throw parties. That's a crazy guardian farm that I'll show you guys in a bit. That thing is absolutely insane when it comes to efficiency. Let me out of here. Down here, I've got a llama cave. This is supposed to be a stable for llamas underground. So I got a bunch of little llamas kind of kicking around here, just hanging out. Over here, I have I think this is supposed to be a Greek style house right here. I think I like the way that this guy turned out at the end of the day. Has a little bit of a pool with a rubber ducky kind of chillaxing. Above here, we have, let me give you guys a good look. This is from Harry Potter. I can't remember what it's called. I think it might be called the Burrow or something. It's supposed to be like a magical house. This is going to be going through some very significant upgrades over time. So stay tuned for that. This was a house I wanted to build up because I thought composters were really cool. Supposed to be a little bit of a log cabin. Absolutely adore the way that this turned out at the end of the day. This is a Pokemon Center. Probably my favorite-ish house on the island just because of how fun and creative it was. I have Ash Ketchum walking up here with Pikachu on his shoulder. This is Girl Geek's Poke Daycare. And on the inside here, you guys can see Girl Geek hanging out, selling some Pokeballs. We have Professor Oak with Bulbasaur, Squirtle, and Charmander. Nurse Joy over here to bring your Pokemon into the area. We have a shiny Mew kind of teleporting on in. A bunch of like things for Pokemon back here. So like potions and Pokeballs. We have a Diglett hanging out in a composter. I've got a little Magikarp hanging out as well with a Rowlet kind of doing his thing. And Natu, I believe this is what they're called. Coming down here. This is just the side profile of this whole area. Oh, probably one of my favorite features of this house in particular are the little gargoyle, like seagull bird thingies that I built on the side here. I absolutely cooked with these things. It's kind of like a nice little pelican with his little claws kind of hanging out. That guy's a little bit bigger. I thought they looked absolutely amazing. Love these dudes. Love that concept. Absolutely love everything about them. 10 out of 10. Wouldn't do it again. Behind here, I have another Lapras, and I have Misty kind of hanging out with all of her Pokemon. So Lapras with Magikarp. She's got some Tritinis. Togepi hanging out. Lotad kind of chilling. We got other little Pokemon like Poliwhirl just kind of vibing out in here. Next to her is probably another one of my favorite houses. I have a lot of favorite houses, apparently. This is the Bavarian style house that I built for Brixie. These are all people part of my Twitch channel, so if you ever want to have something built for you, you know where to go. Coming on through here. She has a really nice interior that is not fully done, but it will be done one day. But she has a clock factory. So this is where we can build cuckoo clocks. All kinds of cuckoo clocks. So if you want to have a cuckoo clock built for you, this little goblin will make it for you. And this whole area is supposed to be where they are all built and designed. Very kind of claustrophobic. Love the little window right here. We can see like Pixel Palace from way over here. And we just got a bunch of little birds and clocks, so we can basically build them all throughout the world. You'll see a couple of these guys kind of kicking around, and I'll show you guys exactly where those are located when we make our way over to that island. Flying on down here is a grotto. So we got Zopa out front, who's going to charge you some pesky old emeralds to get on in here. But this is the grotto. The grotto is a fantastic area. It's very lively, has like a little bit of water in here, some pillars. It's going to have a nice little copper ice bath back here. And then people can kind of hang out in here as a little bit of a kind of tranquil area to kind of hang out. A little bit of a bathhouse, if you will. Over here, I have a bunch of, I got a couple igloos with a little tree and a little like presents and stuff where people can kind of chillax. I have a candy tree, so let me give you guys a little bit of a better look at that because it looks better as you're flying in. It's kind of like a bubblegum candy tree, which I think turned out pretty good. Especially because I have platforms in here, which were very tough to build in here. Little platforms that I'm going to be building a couple little like things in here and stuff like that. So it's supposed to be like a little tree house. This is supposed to be kind of like a watery kind of house type deal, which turned out pretty good. I got a nice little water wheel. I got some fountains kind of coming out here as well. Little fountains and all that type of stuff. I didn't design this house. This one was actually designed by a member of the community who wanted me to build this, so I built it for him. That's for Heart Attack, and this one's for Crimson. But all in all, I think they turned out pretty dang good. We're going to be doing interior to these guys soon enough too. Coming through here, apparently I got a patrol waiting for me, but I have a little mistletoe, and this is a continuation of the Christmas project that I was telling you guys about, where people are like ice skating and having a good time on Christmas. Over here, we did skip over a cave. This is a reptile sanctuary type deal where I have a couple different biomes here. This is supposed to be the jungle area on this side. This is the mesa area on this side. And then we have the desert area over here. I'm waiting on CodeStar to decorate this place up a little bit more because I think there's so much potential that is going on in here. And I really love the way that this all turned out at the end of the day. Close that up. I have one more cave to explore right on over here. Let me see if I can sneak by these guys without them harassing me. This is an ice cave that I built for Gamer. So Gamer hangs out here in his ice cave. And then he's got his like little ice king head right there. Cheeky little llama who kind of hangs out. I think I may have hidden some purple down inside the water. Did I? Yeah, there's a little bit of purple way down there as a little bit of a joke because he wanted me to incorporate purple into the build, but I wasn't that crazy, you know. But that is Winter Island, Alice in Wonderland Island. Now we're about to make our way over here to the Animal Crossing Island. But first, we have a couple boats that we need to look at first. This is the End Ship. The End Ship here is piloted by Mandolin. She brings in all of the micro blocks from the outside world over here. It's a little bit of her lore. This is a absolute mess. I've got a little bit of an addiction to micro blocks, as you guys can see. As I said before, I get these all through the Wandering Trader. So we're not going to look at this boat too closely, but this is where I do keep a lot of those blocks. Across the way, I have another boat. This boat is kind of inspired by Up. It's got a little horse in the front. It's got a bunch of balloons that keep it afloat. This is built for Sam. So flying on in here, I can show you guys a little bit of a closer look at that. It's got a little amethyst anchor right there. And it's supposed to be very like cute and fun and very well put together. And I think that this turned out pretty nice. She's got her little captain's quarters with her little jack-in-a-box, some ferrets hanging out, a bunch of little doodads. She spilled her coffee. We don't talk about the coffee spill, even though we're talking about it right now. A little bit of some stuff going on back here. And then up top, I really don't want to get blown up by a creeper. She's got a nice little like area where she can kind of hang out and look at everything with her dead fish here in the back. I'm going to go to sleep and I'll see you guys in just a moment. One really funny thing about this boat that I forgot to tell you guys is it is powered by hamsters running on wheels to get the movement of the propellers going here. I think that is such a fun idea and I love the way that it turned out. But making our way down to the very beginning of this island, we're going to start things off here on the 13 airlines. If you guys have ever played Animal Crossing, this will look extremely familiar to you guys. But we have the seaplane right here. We have the airport with Mycroft, who will welcome you into this whole area. And then we have the employees only sign. Blitz welcoming you into the island area. We have a nice little overview of the entire area as well. I will be completely revamping this entire island, so stay tuned for that. Obviously, if you haven't subscribed, consider doing that, especially if you guys want to see the development of this world for years to come. As long as I survive, you know, like I said, we just hit 45,296 days. This is the world record that you guys are watching currently, the longest world to ever exist in all of hardcore Minecraft. Japanese style house, an observatory. We have a lighthouse just over there. All these houses come with an interior, but we're going to kind of skip along the interiors a little bit more now because unless it's very significant, I feel like it's just going to take up a lot of time. We have a bunch of little houses kind of scattered along here. Got some caves that we can expand upon in the future. Working our way around here. This is very like Animal Crossing vibes, if you will, with like the plateaus and like the way that everything is lined up. Right here, this is Link's Cranny. This is supposed to be kind of like Nook's Cranny from the Animal Crossing thing, where I'm selling micro blocks with my friend Outsider. This was the very first place where I started to do all the micro block stuff, and I had my own little shop establishment. We have the Able Sisters right over here, where we have a bunch of different costumes for people to buy all throughout here. We'll have a couple of the hermits. Let me know if you guys recognize any of them inside of the comments down below. I have the museum right here, which looks absolutely fantastic. We got the coffee shop on this side and the museum where I'm collecting up all of the flower pots of the big variety, I guess. I don't know what to call those. Of course, we have Red, who has the little tugboat back here, selling off all of the stolen goods back here. Not wearing any shoes. I don't know why. Oh, and there's also a donkey down here. What the heck? Bert, apparently. I don't know what Bert's doing down there, but he's down there. Kind of come across. Actually, let's start at the front of the island now. There's a bunch of stuff going on this island. There's just so much to see. So many houses, all different styles, kind of put together over here on the island. I have wagons as well. Really love the way that these wagons turned out. This is the juice wagon, and we have a little bit of a tiki bar over here run by Round, kind of hanging out over here. Beach with a bunch of people hanging out on the beach, building sand castles, hanging out with the little ones. We have all of the like Hello Kitty people kind of lining up to get some juice right here. We have a pumpkin and pie shop where we can buy ice cream right over here. Bunch of rubber duckies. This one's a unicorn, but it's got a nice view of all the other islands over here. This is another cart where I have like Jesse and James kind of chillaxing with like coughing. You'll see a bunch of Easter eggs. So if you guys see any of the Easter eggs and you're the first one to shout it out in the comments below, I'll give you guys a little cheeky heart on your comment. Olaf out here getting some rays, melting with a nice cup of tea, hanging out here at the mushroom area. Want to play some beach volleyball? You could do that right here. Working our way across here, we have a nice little tree house for football crazy, tree house and dog house. And then I have a little bit of a beach house over here for Butter. This is the villa I built for Melly. We'll take a quick look at that while we work our way around the island. So this villa right here is her giant mansion. We have a 13 etched into the ground here. Everybody jumping off the balcony. I don't know why, but here we are. Bunch of llamas and rabbits all in here. Coming in here, we have an art gallery. So we have like a bunch of different art and statues, and we have a very zen area, a little zen garden that Abby's hanging out in. Some swords and some little masks hanging up. Bunch of micro blocks that she collects. She paid for every single one of these micro blocks. She's a massive supporter, and she keeps an eye on every single one of them up in the ceiling. Little bit of a secret dinner taking place over here. I don't know why she's floating, but she's floating. I'm not gonna ask questions, but she's out here. Kind of doing a little bit of a secret dinner, plotting some stuff over here. We don't know exactly what that may be. I have an aquarium working our way through here. I don't know if you guys can see that all that well on YouTube with the resolution and everything. Up here, I have a little bit of a party going on the deck. We built this one on Christmas as well. He's bringing out some hot chocolate. We got a bunch of people kind of hanging out, bringing a bunch of gifts down here, which I thought was a very cool idea. Starting our way back over here, let's kind of reset towards the front of the mansion. We have some goats kind of hanging out here. They're all screaming goats, as you guys can see. I've tried my absolute best to keep these guys in here. A couple more houses. This one's built for Armor Cross. Armor Cross actually has a motorcycle inside his house, so I'll show you guys what that looks like. He's kind of like building it up. It's kind of on a lift right now. Thought that turned out pretty flippin' awesome. Oh, beaver dams. We have Freya, who hangs out over here. She controls the water supply on the island. And I have another little beaver over there. They call them the beefing beavers. Pretty funny. I forgot we did this. Oh my gosh. The same dude. He's just kind of hanging out, doing his thing. He's just like a big micro block, kind of watching over all the pigs and stuff. I think that's kind of funny. I forgot about that. This is a stable chicken coop, which is really cool because if you flip up the trapdoors this way, they actually can't make their way across that. So I thought that was really neat. And a little bit of a chicken coop right here, kind of hanging out. Okay, so we've made our way back over to this area. Now let's make our way over this way. This is Sin's house. It's like kind of like a really nice cool reef underneath here. TMG's house, which is going to undergo some massive renovations here in the future. I have a Greek house for George over here as well. All right, let's make our way up here. So are any of you guys a fan of, what's it called? Princess Bubblegum Adventure Time. You guys may notice this this cabin right here, because this is a Princess Bubblegum's cabin that I built for Amanda. She has a little bit of a pumpkin patch over here with her varmints kind of hanging out in here. People trick-or-treating. We do this every like kind of Halloween. I have a bird kind of hanging out. She also goes by the name of Amandakin Skywalker, since she's a massive Star Wars fan. And this is her house she hangs out at. Got a bunch of the plushies, all to do with Adventure Time, and of course the cuckoo clock. She also has an interior up there as well, but I won't show you guys that, just out of privacy of her own home. Working our way over here, we've got a little bit of a mushroom cottage where if I knew how to fly, I can give you guys a little bit of a better look. Built this for Bunny. Not a whole lot going on up here besides this area, which is her enchanting area. And then down here, she has her forever birthday party where she's kind of chillaxing with all of her friends with all the cake and presents along the way. Okay. We have Zen's Towers over here. He is a wizard of the world. He's got a very cool concept happening over here. Looks like the paintings are also broken here. So let me just get rid of these guys real quick. But he is a wizard. He's reading the book. He's got his magic ball. He even has a fairy kind of hanging out in here, and he's doing all of his wizard stuff. He also has a really cool garden down here where everything is super small and miniature. This was a lot of fun, where I used micro blocks as the actual houses of this entire area, and it's supposed to be kind of like a fairy garden. I have a spider and a fly kind of hanging out over there in the web, and a bunch of other little things that I don't know if you guys can actually make out on YouTube, but this was a lot of fun. Gotta go to sleep. Next up, we have the Guardian Farm. This thing is absolutely insane, and I can't wait to show you exactly how it works. But on the exterior here, you guys can see it is designed after an Aztec temple out here in the middle of the ocean, above what used to be a ocean monument. I have the Elder Guardian hanging out right here with its beams coming down the staircase. And then we have the End Dragon right here, which is supposed to be symbolic of what drops the most amount of experience in the game. Supposed to be shooting out a bunch of experience orbs out of its mouth, even though I do know it looks like it's throwing up, but I still really love the way that the dragon turned out. It's breaking his way out of the side over here. I built this entire thing for Timmy, and I think that this thing turned out fantastic. Flying on in here, you guys can see that I am not good at doing the bottom part of dragons, but I have a little bit of a gateway into the end. So I've got a bunch of glass coming out here with a bunch of lighting effects, and that's supposed to be kind of like a stargate, if you will, where the elder dragon or the end dragon pretty much came out of and came into the overworld. And then I have the dragon's crest right here on the ground. So let me give you guys a little bit of a closer look at that. There's not really much of a good angle I can really give you guys, huh? There it is. It's down there, I promise. All right, so that's the dragon's crest underneath me. I think it's designed after Skyrim. Right underneath the Stargate area is where the actual farm is. So let me show you guys some footage of how this farm works. Pretty insane, huh? I can get upwards to 7,500 experience with every TNT blast over here, which is fantastic for repairing your tools. Getting me over 600,000 guardians killed in the world. I'll also be doing a full stats breakdown and where I'm getting all the stats from in an up and coming video. So if you guys want to see that, make sure you guys hit the notification bell. But through this portal, I can show you guys what the other side of the Nether looks like leading up to this experience farm. And as you guys can see, it is designed exactly the way you think it would be designed. It's designed after the Aztec temple, which I think looked absolutely fantastic. But we're not going to go down that way. We're actually going to continue to proceed going down this way because I have a bee and spider castle that I think turned out great. It's got giant spiders and a really cool different style bee castle. So as we make our way down through the mine shafts where all the spiders are coming in from, because this is where spiders come from all the spawners in the depths of the world, I'll show you guys a little bit of an overhead view of where we're heading. Lapis, and even more lapis. I remember needing so much lapis to do the entire roof over here. I was going nuts. But for somebody who's not good at doing organics, I'm pretty happy with the way this all turned out. Let me show you guys a little bit of an overhead view on the map so you can get a little bit of a better look at the spider web. I literally feel like a spider. I think that this turned out absolutely fantastic. The Black Widow, the jumping spider. I have a giant wolf spider over here, a harvestman, which actually isn't a spider, and an orb weaver just back there. And I'll show you guys what those look like as we get a little bit closer to the castle over here. I will be replacing all of these blossom trees with big giant plants to make this place kind of feel like the game Grounded, if you guys have ever played Grounded. Coming down here, I have this guy. Remember where we saw this? If you guys know where we saw this somewhere in the world, let me know if you guys know. Because if you remember where we saw those, you're a real one. You're actually watching the entire tour all the way through, which is definitely helping me out. So I appreciate you. All the Black Widows kind of crawling out of like random holes over here. This whole area was completely trampled by this big giant jumping spider that's crawling across here. I don't know what the heck Bison's doing. Thinks he's nuts or something, trying to hold back the spider. I got a couple more of the flying spider things, and then we got a couple more holes along the way. These are supposed to be symbolic of stingers. I got the honeycomb walls right here. But here we are at the front of the bee castle. This is the map of the entire area. A little bit of a different look. I love the way that the roof looks like with the map. Nice little bridge that kind of breaks off at the very end here. but I really like the way that this like kind of flows right off of there. We have the Black Widow right over here with DJ the Dude. He is the king of freaks. Got a couple individuals hanging out on top of the jumping spider as well. And as we continue on into the castle, I wanted this place to be symbolic of not just bees, but also photosynthesis as well. So I wanted there to be a lot of plants, which is also the reason why I have a giant sun at the very top of this castle right here. And then I have a moon and some stars along here as well, with these little tiny like bee pixel arts that are supposed to be kind of like flying out of here, which I think made a really cool effect, which I absolutely love the way that those turned out. Flying on back into the castle, we have a queen bee floor. So let me see if I can get a good look at this. Nope, I can't. Apparently I can't get a good look at anything today. Come on. Right up in there. Boom. That's a pretty good look. A little bit of a hardcore heart with a little crown, and then we got the bee right here. Really love the way that these roofs turned out. I did basically like an inside of a like dome. I think it turned out really, really cool. Dividing waterfalls to kind of split up the room a little bit. Giant log right here where Beez hangs out on her throne. I'm over here as well, looking real tall with a bunch of bees flying out of the stump. We then have Rubik's hanging out with all the little miniature spiders crawling off the back of the wolf spider over here. I also have a like kind of like the progression of how this whole area took place. 1 week progression, which I really love the way that all turned out. Looks fantastic. Can't remember what we named this guy at the end of the day, but he's got a really cute name. I think he's adorable. Back here we have the orb weaver kind of hanging out, just chilling with a big giant web in the back here. I think that turned out pretty nice. Dan pointing out the one trap door that I missed when it comes to waxing, which really sucks. And then I've got the chillest of the chillest, Dale. I think. Maybe his name is Dan. Can't remember if that's Dan Dangles or Dale Dangles. It's one of the D's. Anyways, I think I love the way that guy looks. But let me know what you guys think of this entire castle. If you've ever seen somebody build an entire roof out of lapis, I would be very, very surprised. But I really like the way that this guy turned out. And of course, there's a thunderstorm happening while we're over here, and I almost got struck. But let's start moving our way over to the next build. I guess while it's thunderstorming outside, it's a safe place to hang out in the Nether. This is probably going to be the most insane farm you'll see to date. This is a lot of fun. This is the Wither Skele Whiskey Train farm. Let me just hop over this full netherite beacon right there. This is a hand-dug 256 by 270 block perimeter. That took me a very long time to dig out from bedrock all the way down to bedrock. And I plan to fill this entire space with kind of like a Gotham City, Arcane City vibe. So it'll be kind of like a gothic cyberpunk city. I've got one big giant wall of black concrete finally done. Gonna be working on this wall next. I'm gonna be doing all 4 walls and the ceiling. So I've got my work cut out for me for that. Up here is where the actual Wither Skele farm is located. I'll show you guys exactly how that works here very, very soon. I'll run a clip because you guys will be absolutely amazed. So without further ado, enjoy. Yeah. Probably say that's your favorite farm now, huh? I love that. There's a few more things I'm going to be also putting inside of here as well. So I was thinking about the same concept, but also doing it for a gold farm. So I think over here is the Nether Waste. So I have the gold farm over here that I'll be placing in here. Over there, I think I might be doing, where's it at? Right there? Yeah, that'll be a gas farm potentially. That'll be a part of the city, and probably, arguably, one of the most important farms in this whole area will be the frog life farm. So I'll be able to have all kinds of magma cubes and frog lights all pumping out of here. But I've yet to get around to actually building in here. I will be building in here relatively soon after this world tour gets dropped, probably a month after this world tour gets dropped. So if you guys want to catch that, you guys know where to be, over on my Twitch, or I'm sure that you'll see all kinds of YouTube videos on this whole development of this project, you know. But that's not the only nether build I have. Coming down here, I've got 2 additional builds. One super overpowered overkill Netherwart farm that I've only had to run literally once because it gets me about 20,000 plus Netherwart. And then over here is the underwhelming only one spawner blaze farm, but I built this for one of the most important people in my life, Zopa. He's an amazing person. So I definitely want to make things up to him and build him something even bigger, especially for his new little one. And here, this is where the one blaze spawner that I could find. I was really trying to find multiple blaze spawners side by side, but I don't know for those of you guys who need to hear this, but you can craft end rods, and this is exactly how I do so. I just take the pop coarse fruit with the blaze rods and I combine the two. Very, very handy, and I know there's probably a few of you guys who didn't even know you can craft end rods in the game, but now you do. Over here, I have a little bit of a city of lanterns. So we have the soul lanterns and then the orange lanterns right around here. I think turned out great. Around this time is when I started to try and get good at doing pixel art. So I actually like designed and handcrafted this whole thing from a micro block I was looking at. And then same thing goes with that. It's the exact same thing, just smaller scale. And then I have the tower and the bridge. Right here is the internal flame. And then I have the 2 towers right here to connect the 2. Down this way, I have a Netherwart farm that I built for Elusive. Let me just fly up and zip all the way over here. So this was like my very first attempt at building a cathedral. And I think it turned out pretty damn good, especially because I was limited by the nether ceiling, but it does go all the way down to the lava and work its way all the way up. I love the colors here. I think it's very high contrast, and I really like the way everything turned out. On the interior here is the cathedral itself with like some flames and all that kind of stuff. And then underneath us is actually where the Netherwart farm is. I'll spare you guys from looking at that. There's an army over here on both sides. He's at war with the blazes where we just came from, so we'll see how that story develops in the future. But this is the super overpowered Netherwart farm. Oh, and I guess this would be a really good time to also point out that my entire nether hub does take place underneath the nether ceiling, for those of you guys who are wondering. And no, it's not supposed to look good from the outside, because I know it looks hideous. Going from something that looked hideous to something that smells hideous. Some of you guys may have noticed I have a sewer system towards the end of my storage room. And, well, this storage room not only goes to a couple builds in my world, but I think it's about time that we start heading our way towards the end. And that means I've got a roller coaster ride to show you guys. But there are a few things that I need to show you guys first along the way. So this was a way for me to get from my storage room over to my trading hall, which I'll show you a little bit towards the end of the episode. But there's a little somebody I would like to show you guys, and that is the very first warden I ever captured in the world. This is Season 2 Kappa. Kappa, for those of you guys who are not familiar, is Twitch lingo for just kidding, basically. But this was a huge testament in my world, going from somebody who defeated the warden to somebody who captured the warden. And still to this day, I'm one of the very few, if not the only person out there with a hardcore world, as long as I have, that have over 10 wardens captured in the world. But that's not all. I have a special secret little room right down here that I'm going to show you guys. Also, here are my blue axolotls. Don't want to talk about how long those guys took for me to get, but let's descend into the Thieves chambers. So I just got to make sure that my note blocks are turned on because I do have some really cool note block action that you guys are about to hear very, very soon. But here we go. This is a little bit of a hidden branch off from the sewer system, as you guys can see. And the whole concept behind this area is that it was supposed to be kind of like an underground thieves school, training up like basically like a thieves guild. Down here, I'll show you guys in just a minute, but I have a labyrinth. If I walk across here, I've got some black glass with a labyrinth with some chests. These chests in this labyrinth is supposed to train you in stealth. I'll show you guys that I have 2 wardens back there, and I also have a couple creakings in here as well that I was kind of playing around with, seeing who would win in a fight, the creaking or the warden. And ultimately, the warden will push the creaking out of its spawning radius. So I guess the warden actually does win that. But I love the way that this whole room turned out. I'm going to showcase a couple functionalities here because there's a few things to kind of take in. I've kind of wanted to go with a very symbolic approach between night and day. Thieves act in the night. Daytime, they take to underground and they sneak around. I have the Jawas who steal stuff throughout the world. These respawn anchors are slowly filling with glowstone as it's becoming different moon phases. I have these really cool moon banners right here that I thought fit really, really nice. Wither skulls up there, of course. And I really love the way that this room ultimately looks. Let's see if it actually shows up on the map in a decent way. It does. That's not too bad. I've actually never seen this room in a map. But it also has a downstairs as well. So we're just going to carefully jump down here to the first layer. This is, of course, the labyrinth. And I'll show you guys the wardens. They're just vibing behind there. I have a fence gate hooked up to some slimes where I can release these guys and let them walk freely throughout the labyrinth. But down here is where the real magic starts. Descending down into here, I built this entire place for essentially. She's the goddess of Thieves. She has her moon crest right back there and a bunch of skulk around her as well. Down here, if we pass football crazy, we'll notice there is a classroom right here teaching people all sorts of stuff. We have a botany class as well right over here. This is supposed to be kind of like Hogwarts, if you will, but for thieves. There's a giant vault back here, which is going to be getting quite a big expansion one day. I've been digging it out periodically, and I do... Oh, there is a lot of tuff in here. I'm going to have to jot that down on my notepad. Do I really have a notepad, or did I just want to get some cheeky chops in? I need to replenish my my health bar real quick, so I probably will forget about that. Anyways, I have the different sun phases. I guess there's only one phase of the sun, and it's full blown. So I have like little suns right there, just chilling. Walking down here, I have the exact mirror on this side. These tables are inspired by Hogwarts, of course, with the floating candles and the banquet tables. A couple people just kind of hanging out. In here, I have a library, and I will say this is probably one of my favorite libraries in this whole area. I love the way that the kelp goes with the dark oak. I think that is a fantastic pairing block right there. And then, of course, we just have a couple little things here and there. We got a little whippersnapper ripping around here and an enchantment table. There's some really cool bookshelves. But this place serves a greater purpose than just a school for thieves. It's supposed to be a way for me to get around my world for things that are a little bit closer by than my Netherhub can take me to. So this is my Overworld hub. And we're about to explore one of those options right down here. But you guys can also see I've started a little bit of an expansion out this way. So I'm thinking about connecting this one over to the factory, to the castle, the iron farm, and of course, the volcano. But over here, I have a 5-minute minecart ride. This is absolutely mind-blowing. Probably the funnest project I've ever done to date. And there is a lot of Easter eggs here. So let's play a little bit of a game and let's see who can spot the most amount of Easter eggs. And if you spot the most amount of Easter eggs, maybe you'll learn something special. I'm going to shut up and I'll see you guys on the other side. I really almost had my eye poked out there. But that is pretty dang cool, huh? Like I said, the most fun project I've ever gotten to do in Minecraft. I've got Super Mario Kart and a lot more. And for those of you guys who are wondering, yes, minecarts do go underwater. This whole area, though, this is my main hub that leads out to my end islands. I've got probably my second dragon that I've ever made in Minecraft. Yeah, second. Nope, third. That's a lie. This is my third dragon. But one of my favorite dragons. I love this dragon. I think this dragon turned out absolutely phenomenal. The legs could use some work. Maybe we could be hitting legs at the gym a little bit more. But ultimately, I'm pretty happy. Above the actual end gateway, I've got a little bit of a solar system So I have the sun. I have this guy being ejected into space. I have the Ender Dragon hanging out. Earth, of course, so that could be like where I live and stuff. We have aliens on Mars. We have Uranus kind of out here. A bunch of different asteroids, aliens, stars, Rumbot, of course. A bunch of little things just kind of hanging out right before we go into the end. So I'm going to go through the portal and I'll see you guys on the other end. Welcome to my end. As you guys can see behind me, I've got a bunch of spaceships and a giant asteroid over there being eaten alive by a space station. We'll get over to that in just a minute. I have a giant structure out that way on a very flat grass platform that I will be changing in the future, I promise. This right here is my main end hub. Looking at this from a bird's eye view, you guys will notice I have each and every single one of the gateways opened up with a hardcore heart on it. Got an island here, island there, and there's an Enderman farm in the middle. But this is no ordinary Enderman farm. This bad boy be hitting different. There's 3 different ways to use this guy. Let me turn off the mob sounds just so we're not getting absolutely wrecked out here. But I have a couple different modes here. So you guys can see that they're falling to their death right now. That's because down here, I have a Sculk farm. And I'll show you guys a small video of how that works now. So that's where I get all the Sculk in my world to expand the Sculklands. Next up, I have a designated area where I summon the Wither. And I can turn all of the Endermen that collect here, if I put a platform down, into Wither Roses. And of course, I'll show you guys how that works right now. So there are a couple functionalities of Wither Roses that are very handy to have for those of you guys who are probably wondering why I need a Wither Rose farm. 1, Wither Roses can be used to make black dye. 2, Wither Roses are spawn proof. The only thing that can spawn on a Wither Rose is a wizard skeleton. So that's a pretty cool functionality on its own. And the third and final feature on how you can use this Enderman farm is, well, as an Enderman farm, of course. So I can have them all sit here at 1 health, and then I can just come in here and I can just swipe away and kill Enderman by getting a ton of experience as a byproduct. So that's pretty cool. Let's head on out this way now, shall we? I have this guy right here who collects all of my Wither Roses, just not set up in there, unfortunately, right now because, well, I have it on Sculk mode and I got to figure out exactly how I want to have that. But this structure was quite the challenge. This structure has archways that are not only going up and all the way across. So I have archways that are not only on a diagonal, but I have them progressively getting bigger as well. That was a pretty big challenge. I have the main structure right here in the middle with a giant firework blowing up at the very top. I'll give you guys a closer look on how that looks here in just a moment. I have these are some of my earliest terracotta trees that I ever built when I was trying to get better at building organics. It's an ongoing process, but I love these trees. I think they turned out fantastic. I have these giant spotlights that are like spotlighting the actual farm itself. I have these big footlight thingies that are like kind of have lights and all that kind of fun stuff just to kind of take up the area. This whole place is supposed to be very like grandiose. I built this for Sizzlesaur, the god of celebration, and I'll show you guys exactly what we celebrate and why we celebrate different things. I have these gazebos set in place for just kind of hanging out, eating some cake. Got a couple homies hanging out in the blossoms right over there, just kind of vibing. I guess gotta watch out for any Enderman. I gotta make sure I don't get yeeted out here. Speaking about yeeting, I should be eating, huh? Tell you what, you never notice how hungry your Minecraft character is until you start doing a freaking world tour. But anyways, let's make our way over here. This area in particular is extremely special to me. This is exactly where I track all of my progress in the world. So this is my board of achievements. Let me see if I can get a little bit of a better look here. Every single one of these items here symbolize a mega build I have in my world. So the last mega build that I did complete on here was the Ice Cathedral. I guess I should still put a piece of pink wool right here to be symbolic of the city expansion. And currently we're doing the volcano. So I kind of progressively make my way through here for every single mega build that I complete in the world. This guy right here is all of the farms I have in the world. And as you guys can see, there are a lot of farms to see and a lot more farms to add, but I only have 5 additional spots, so I guess I'll have to be a little bit more choosy with what I add here. Right over here, actually, if I kind of stand down here, every item that I have in the millions is up on that wall up there. So I track everything that hits the million mark. Every 5,000 days gets a new Nether star. We're at 45,000 now. Taking a look at the 1 million club book, which will be expanded tenfold for when I get to a future mega build. But you guys can kind of take in exactly where I'm sitting at with a lot of my statistics. But the chicken emo and the chats, those are both associated to my Twitch channel. So let me just kind of take this book and see if there's like another page. There is not. But still, I think that's a really, really cool way of staying motivated long term in a hardcore world. Down here, well, this is how I track how many years I have in my hardcore world. So year 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're working our way towards the 5th year in this world. Right here, this is my 2-year anniversary of not popping a totem, which you can see we're approaching that 3rd year, and I'm really hoping we make it. As long as I don't do anything dumb. I have my 100,000 subscriptions on YouTube, and I appreciate each and every one of you guys. If you haven't done so, consider subscribing, and make sure you guys like the video because that helps me out a ton, and it's free, so I appreciate it. Right here, I've got my Bleed Purple trophy that I got on Twitch, which is 5 million hours of watch time on my Twitch channel. I, of course, already have the 100,000 on Twitch as well. And this guy right here is just another testament of the 5 million hours of watch time I have in my Twitch channel. These are all the Ascended banners that you guys can see all the way down here. So these are very symbolic of individuals who have spent 1 million channel points on my Twitch channel in order to gain one of those bad boys, so I can build them up something. So any of these mega builds that you guys see, they are the Ascended, and these individuals are massive supporters of my Twitch stream and my YouTube channel, and support me and help me do what I do today, every single day, as a full-time content creator. And here, well, this is very, well, there's not a whole lot to see in here. I have some flower farms for some dye. I have a sea pickle farm back here for some more dye. And I think I have these furnaces here. Whoa, that's a lot of coal. Hello? Just to get lime green dye. I didn't realize I had so much coal in there. All right. Right around here in the central area, I really hope I have some fire rockets to kind of show you guys. If not, we'll craft some. But this is a firework testing facility for when I want to throw like a big celebration of fireworks. So if I click this guy right here, there you go. So if I want to see what different modifiers will do with fireworks, I can test that out right in here at the firework testing facility. Right over here is where I craft them all. So I have all the modifiers. I've got diamonds. I got, well, I don't have glowstone. I have nuggets. I have feathers. Well, I don't have feathers. Creeper heads, but they're not creeper heads. They're wither skulls. and fire charges. And then, of course, I have every single corresponding color, gunpowder, and paper. And then I could just craft them up here using this crafting bench, make up a bunch of fireworks, and then I can fly my way all the way up here where I hold my big firework shows. These big firework shows, I will kind of set up a pillar and I'll watch the firework show with the rest of Twitch chat or in my live streams, because I'm kind of progressing to live streaming on YouTube as well. So I have a big fireworks show that apparently is still on. Hold on. There we go. It's probably been on for a very long time. This button right here is the grand finale, so I could fire off all these. And then we have all the other fireworks that are all set up along here. And then, of course, like I said, Sizzlesaur's Ascension. We just sit here and we watch the fireworks blow up. Right across here, we have Sam and Melly, who are just racing on in to catch the fireworks show before they miss it. And then we have the main table where everybody kind of just hangs out. Sizzlesaur made these. I thought that was a really cool touch where he can make his like own little chickens. And then I added them in here, and then we could just kind of hang out here and discuss, you know, things and stuff. You know what I mean? But that's just about everything there is to see over here. I think it's time to progress over to my Turtle Island. And this Turtle Island is a very special Turtle Island. This is my very first organic I ever made on this channel. This was a very tough and challenging build, especially right over top of the void. But I love the concept of having a flying turtle in the end with a giant sandcastle on its back. I built this up for Catcumber, who is the turtle master. And this is actually my turtle egg farm. So I've got a bunch of turtles who live inside this skull of the turtle. Kind of morbid, I know. But it is what it is, right? I have the sandcastle, which is designed after a Pokemon. I think it's called Sandygast or Podzol or whatever its name is. We can walk inside the castle. We can say hello to Catcumber. Sup, Catcumber. And look around a little bit. I have a couple... I thought I had a turtle that lived up there, but apparently... Oh, yep, he's chilling. I have a little fish tank up there. I have axolotls and turtles on the side. I built this pretty early on in the whole episode, so I'm loving it. Over here, I've got turtle eggs on top of the back of the turtle, which I thought turned out pretty cool. They're kind of like big, giant Yoshi eggs. And then I have a little bit of a little campsite, little oasis. It's supposed to be a little bit of a tropical paradise back here. And I, of course... right over here, I have a bee farm. And this bee farm was probably one of the first ways that I ever actually got a bunch of honey and all that kind of stuff inside the game. I would just literally come in here and I would shear up all these, just getting a bunch of honeycomb or honey bottles, whatever it may be. That is what I did. This was like my method of getting early game honeycomb. But that's all there is to see over here. Let's head on over all the way across the way where I have Chazzy's build, Lord of the Skies. I have a bunch of birds over here who are all designed to be spaceships. I have a giant asteroid kind of being harvested for all of its resources from the space station. These birds were a lot of fun. These are supposed to be like kind of like starfighters. So I have like the green tropical bird over here. They all have like their own like little guns. They have their own pilots. And I think that this concept was just so dang cool. I have the tropical bird of paradise over here. I have the eagle, the cardinal, all fiery and stuff. An owl over there. I'll give you a little bit of a closer look at that. But all in all, this build turned out fantastic. The cardinal, probably my favorite out of the bunch, but I don't know. I really like these ones as well. The owl being a little bit of the kind of like the scout I think turned out fantastic. I built this entire sphere. Mind you, I don't use Lightmatica or anything crazy like that. When I built this sphere took me 5 days to build, and I had to build it like 3 different times. This thing was a living nightmare. Try building a sphere and staying focused in front of hundreds of people, and you got like, I don't know, hundreds of other people trying to talk to you at the same time, and it's just like, I don't know what I'm doing anymore. I'll show you guys the inside. So one big way that really helped me build this sphere was I started kind of alternating the different colors, and I had a nice tiled block. So I was able to count exactly how many blocks I was in, and I used a website called Plots. For those of you guys who are unaware of Plots, Plots is basically like a circle generator or sphere generator. It will just basically mathematically break things down so you can just go from there. Obviously the underside of this whole area, I brought it all the way down. I just replaced the underside, and then everything above here I did on the exterior of the sphere. It was a way smarter idea. Flying right back on out, we'll take a quicker look at the space station, because I have some future plans for what I want to do with the space station in the future. Don't know exactly when that will happen, but I've got a little bit of a design in here. I mean, it's very, very plain in here right now, but I would like to ultimately have people living on the space station and expand upon this idea, especially throughout the end. But for all there is to see in here, this is pretty much it. But ultimately, I want to have flying birds all over my entire end, at least the 1,000 by 1,000 block radius before we hit the end islands. But not only do I want to have flying birds, I want to have trains as well. I think having like really cool cargo trains would be a very cool way to transport my beacons throughout the end, having full beacon coverage in a very creative but very fitting fashion. If I open up the map here, I can show you guys a little bit of what the birds look like from the bird's eye view. We have the cardinal and everything. I forget what shape the space station is. I think it's called a torus or something. That wasn't too bad of a build. It's basically like a big giant donut. This, very suspicious looking. And then of course this, but you can see just how big that whole radius is before you hit the end islands, and how big of a space we have to build and expand inside of the whole end. It's pretty insane. But that is all there is to see in the end. Let's head back over to the overworld. Now I've shown you guys a lot of builds already, but I think it's time to go back in time and show you guys my very first mega build in this world, which was the Ocean Monument. Now, a very long time ago, back in the day, this monument went all the way down to bedrock. It was very different back then. Now, it goes down to what bedrock used to be and completely destroyed my entire farm. So I basically had to put down glass, and I had to put down a bunch of water down here, and this is where I got my first blue axolotl. But the Guardian farm itself is supported by these giant trident columns. I almost called them obsidian columns, but they're basically these big giant trident columns that hold up the monument itself, almost like kind of like bringing it out of the ocean itself. I built all of this for my best friend, Outsider. He was the only one back in the day who believed in me and told me, hey man, you should start streaming. And I was like, hey dude, what's streaming? And well, here we are today. My very first pixel art that I've ever made. This is the drowned pixel art here. I have a ton, and an absolute ton of Hall of Fames in this area as well. And I don't think I'm going to show you guys what those look like, at least not in the world tour, because there's so many Hall of Fames and there's so many people to look at. But if you're in the Hall of Fame, let me know in the comments down below And I want to just say a special thank you to each and every one of you guys for being in the Hall of Fame. Right here is the Guardian farm. You guys can see the Guardians will kind of spill down, and I will collect up all of the drops right here. I ultimately would love to have an auto-crafting all the prismarine blocks in here. Right underneath there, though, I have myself this bad boy right here. Caught him, moved him in here. Very easy to do. I'm just kidding. It wasn't that easy to do, but very cool because that's a naturally generated, like, one of the most rare mobs in the game, which is really cool. I don't think I have anything living in the fountain anymore, but I used to. I used to have a bunch of fish in here, but it was really lagging out my game. Unfortunately, I had to say goodbye to those guys. This right here, I call this the Terra Temple. So anything terraform related, I can get within this temple right here. I have the Guardian shooting a beam all the way up into the sky. There's beacons running through that, but I have my beacon beams turned off because they look fugly. So beacon beams are turned off using sodium extras, I believe, for those of you guys who are wondering. I have a bamboo farm, lichen farm, like you should be likening. I'm not gonna do that. We got glowstone, what is that? Glow berries right here. Sweet berries, of course. Backup stuff, just whatever. Bone meal to like kind of do its thing. Flower farm, snow farm, petal farm. We got what the heck is this thing called? The weeping, the creeping moss or something. We've got this thing. Wow, 11,000 hours and I don't know what anything is named, huh? Kind of suspicious. Cocoa beans. I think I might be having a stroke. Anyways, Guardian farm right there. I have all of the vines with no vines inside the box. I don't know why it's a double chest, but hey, I guess wishful thinking. I don't even know how these farms even work. I don't even know what this farm is even for. Oh, I think that was actually supposed to be for ferns. Hanging root. Water, of course. We've got kelp. I've got this thing for seagrass. And I used to have large strip leaf on there on that obsidian, but you can't place large strip leaf on obsidian anymore. And I'm a doofus and I broke it. So that's cool. Let's fly on down here though. This was my very first boat in my world. Love this thing. This is actually where I start and stop every single one of my live streams, on this boat in particular. I call this like kind of like the heart of my world, because it's got all the people inside the Hall of Fame just kind of sitting here. But I also have some mementos here as well. This is like 1 year without popping a totem. This is my 5 years on Twitch. Just a shiny apple. My 1 millionth stone mined in the world. I have the final end stone mined from my entire end island. Oh, I never actually pointed that out. I've fully mined out that end island. So let me show you guys what I mean by that. If I click this bad boy right here, you guys will see that I have almost 900,000 end stone mined. And that's because I mined my end island out with a pickaxe. Yeah, it took me quite some time. I think about 3 weeks or something like that. It was a lot of farming. This is the last netherrack for digging out my entire wither Skele farm. This was the very first ancient debris I got from the wither Skele farm. I wish I had a date on this. Unfortunately, I do not. My 1 year of playtime that I achieved, which is almost a year ago. Actually, wait. That is a year ago since I'm recording this. It's the 5th of March. Damn. Which is kind of nuts because I've only gone up 0.29 of a year since. For those of you guys who are wondering why this number is different from this number, I think it was back in 1.16 is when this statistic was introduced into Minecraft. And since I started this world back in 1.15, these numbers are very different. I get that question quite a bit, but if you look it up, I promise I'm not a fraud. I'm not cheating. It's just how it is. This was my very first movie on YouTube. And then I have my 2 years with no popping a totem, which you guys already saw that at the end. This was my very first ground trident that I got when I completed my trident farm. We'll be heading there very soon. And then the pain in the gas was when I moved a gas into the overworld, but it wasn't the killing the gas that killed me. It was, well, trapping the gas in the next location that I'm about to show you guys. Because of course, which witch farm would be complete without a gas? And the answer is all of them. It doesn't require gas at all to make a witch farm. Just so you guys know. Don't do this. They are a pain in the neck. Anyways, this is supposed to be kind of like Halloween Town as we walk our way into the witch area. And I'll see you guys on the other portal because I'm not going to make you guys look at this. Mainly because I wanted to show you guys it from this angle. Look at that fog effect. Oh my god. So this fog effect alone, I think, was about 70,000 purple glass and about 35 to 40,000 black glass and a bunch of nether stars. I don't even know how many nether stars are in there, but there is quite a few nether stars. But I love the way this all turned out. I think it looks very magical, and I built up a bunch of mushrooms on the way down as well. You'll notice at the very end, I have a haunted mansion, and I'll show you guys that in just a moment. Let's take a look at the map here real quick. Look at the size of that fog effect. Oh my gosh, dude. And they say that size doesn't matter, but in this particular instance, it doesn't matter at all. So it's kind of funny how that works. Anyways, moving our way down here. This is the haunted mansion. You'll see that I have a ghast right here. And funny story about this ghast is this ghast has eyes and a hat. That's because ghast only face a certain way when they're in the overworld. I didn't know that. And I think that way, if I pull up this thing, let me even see. Oh yeah. So right here, you'll notice that a ghast will only face south in the overworld. Yeah, south. Yeah, dude, come on now, Mojang. Really? Come on. I worked like 6 hours to get this guy into the end or the overworld, and this is what you do to me? Bruh. Anyways, I digress. I'm not holding a grudge. You're holding a grudge. I might be holding a grudge. Maybe. Anyhoosler, I love the way that this guy turned out. I love the honey in the windows. Rolling on up. I've got this guy, Perninator, just chilling. This guy died. Actually got knocked out of here by a pig. And I almost got killed by that flippin' wither Skele. Kind of crazy turn of events there. Right in here, I've got a instant and consistent. I don't think I meant to say the word instant, but it's a automatic potion brewer. Can I say automatic any more awkward? Yeah, probably. But this is designed by Impulse SV. Absolutely amazing. I've got a plethora of different potions that I can basically craft up as I go. I got the night vision, the water breathing, the slow falling. I got the fire resistance right there. I have an infinite water source chilling. I got a potion of swiftness. I got the strength out here. I got healing. I have harming, and I've got the miscellaneous right there. So all of your potion needs all found right here. If I ever need to convert any of those potions into splash potions, I could do that right here. And then I have these cauldrons where we're brewing up some new potions. So this guy's like kind of like reading off some instructions. This witch right here is just chucking in some stuff. And I have that on both sides. Thought it turned out pretty dang snazzy. But the actual witch farm is right over here in a crypt in the graveyard that I have set up out here as well. I actually think I have, yeah, this guy. Bruh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. He was a villager who worked for me way back when. I actually slipped and I fell into him with my sword. And well, one thing leads to another. He ended up here. This is a Rayworks design. That used to be a witch hut. Witches spawn in there. The Zoglins push them off. They get thrown into a water system. I have a bunch of minecarts chilling right here that basically kill the witches and turn them into resources. Back here, I just have some shulker boxes that I can kind of fill up and bring back to my base. Of course, every single one of those I just opened up were empty. That's because I'm very on top of putting everything away as soon as it comes into, you know, into whatever. Maybe I'm not the best at putting stuff away. Maybe I just don't have any resources. You won't know. We have a little bit of a pumpkin patch, just big chilling over here. Halloween Town back here. Pretty damn snazzy. Got some cool looking cantilevering trees. I got some scarecrows. Whatever this thing is, I thought this thing was cool, so we built it. This is the mayor's house. The mayor is Sam. I need to get rid of all these paintings, unfortunately, because they're all showing their names. But Sam's just kind of hanging out here. And this is Halloween Town, which I love dearly. Right over here, I have a costume shop. So if you want to buy yourself a scarecrow or a costume, you can do that right over here. Across the way, I'm going to try to pronounce a word that I literally cannot pronounce. This is an apothecary. 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 It's a potion room. House. Potion house. What is this thing called? The pocket potion area. Yes. That's got a way better ring to it. I got like a little like potion right here. I love the way that this build turned out. Looking absolutely fantastic. I was cooking that day, you know what I mean? Fly on down here. I got a different looking house, just kind of chilling. I have a Baba Yaga, which is basically a house that is a monster, and it looks great. Got a little bow tie, got a little pencil, got some weird looking phalanges, eyebrows, glasses, this thingy in the like in its nose, a bunch of mobs spawning on it apparently. Just take that guy out. I've got a pumpkin dude chilling out here with a really cool hat. Thought that turned out great. That clock is actually working. Whoa, 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 whoa. I swear if you rat me out in the comment section down below and make me fix that creeper hole, I'm not going to be happy. Moving on, this is the other side of the gas, the actual gas face, the gas face that I wasn't expecting to be facing inside the mansion, but it is. We have Football Crazy, who is the goddess of magic. Absolutely amazing person, hangs out in my stream every single day. The goddess of thieves, stealing a book from the library, but her arms are so small she can't reach. So I don't think we have to worry about that because she's a shorty. Right on over here, I just got a little bit of a library with everybody kind of hanging out and stuff. Walking through here, got that same little cheeky trick I showed you guys earlier. If you guys missed it, well, sucks to suck. Maybe you shouldn't be skipping parts of the video. Not a good look. Love the way that the staircase kind of turned out. Kind of goes up and over and all that jazz. Working our way up here. We have the tentacles of the gas go and all that type of stuff. I have the those things that people put inside their house to light fires and whatnot. Got one of those, but I got them on both sides because of course it connects to two chimneys. All right, let's fly our way over to my broken raid farm that is completely busted, and I am really upset about it, which is right over here. There's not a whole lot to show you guys. This isn't an automated raid farm. This was a manual raid farm. I'm not even going to touch the ground. I'm just going to show you guys the raid coliseum because that's pretty much all there is to really show you guys around here. I need to expand on the idea of having a coliseum. I think I can do a way better coliseum nowadays with the Warden, but that is all there is to really see around here. Let's head on over to that drowned farm I was telling you guys about. And of course, the Coliseum comes with its own Netherhub expansion. You guys can see the big giant totem guy who's popping right here. that is connected off the wing of the witch farm, which is connected to my ocean monument. And if I continue going all the way down here, it will bring us to the main Nether hub. I hope you guys have all been enjoying the video so far. I know that this is a very long one, but what do you expect when you clicked on the 45,000 day walkthrough of my world? This is a record breaker. So if you've made it to this point, maybe put like a 1 inside of the comments down below, so I know you guys made it to this portion of the video. But this is how I get over to my tree farm and my panda sanctuary, where I got the brown panda for the very first time. We'll double back into that area, but first I want to show you guys the drowned farm region, which is a completely different tunnel a little bit further down the way. This is probably my absolute favorite tunnel out of all of the tunnels in the Nether. I love the way that this guy turned out. I love the spruce. I love the prismarine, the cheeky water in the Nether, of course. But as we make our way over towards this portal over here, I'll show you guys how I get my tridents. This trident farm, I believe, gets me 17 tridents per hour, and it is a absolute beast. Designed by Redstonia. And frick, I still need to fix this place. This right here is where I get all the tridents. This farm is absolutely massive, and I'm going to show you guys what that looks like here in just a moment. But as you guys can see, all of the drowns are starting to come on up in here. Some of them will have tridents, like the one that just popped up just now, and a lot of them will have fishing rods. All that will be collected right below us down here. So I already got quite a few tridents as it stands. Let me show you guys a little bit of a clip of me taking these guys out. And then, of course, the outside of the farm. Like I said, this thing is massive. It takes a ton of glass in order to make this thing. But let's just say the output obviously strongly outweighs the amount of resources it took to build. And honestly, not even that bad. It's just a lot of glass. You don't even have to make it out of glass. You can make this out of anything. Flying on out this way, I have the drowned castle just over here. This was the very first time that I ever actually built completely underwater and underground. I also really love the way that this bridge turned out. I think it reminds me of The Legend of Zelda, which obviously I'm a pretty big fan of. So let's fly up into here and let's take a look at what I call Drown Town. But not just Drown Town. There's a few other additional things in here that I want to show you guys. This was not only the very first time that I ever actually caught glow squid and put them inside of a tank, which I think turned out great, but it is also the very first time that I have ever relocated Elder Guardians, which was a little bit easier than I expected. Honestly, I didn't really think they would be that easy. It would be a lot more difficult if they weren't able to breathe above land. I have all of the axolotls, if you guys can see those at all on the YouTube side of things. I got a bunch of turtles. I built this one up for a healer. The only drown to spawn in with 2 tridents, which is pretty cool. And then down here is where I have Drown Town. So I have the trident. And if I, yep, of course that would happen. But if I progress on in here, this is a fully aquatic town. Down here, I have a really cool fog effect. And if you really pay attention, you can see some axolotls swimming around in the depths of the ocean. Of course, I have like a dead fish kind of chilling. A lot of these turtles should have names too. So that's called Spoon. We got Shredder. We got Jack over here. We got Crush, of course. I think I have Swim Shady kicking around here as well. I have a bunch of Shadies kind of just hanging out around the world. That's Bonsai. That's Dinner Bone, but that's honestly our dead fish. We have the central area of Drown Town. I wouldn't mind expanding this place one day. This was actually a little bit more of a challenge than I originally thought it was going to be. Building a bunch of stuff underwater. Unfortunately, Java has a bunch of limitations when it does come to building a bunch of things underwater. But my original idea was I wanted to expand out this way and make like an underwater city, basically. And of course, on our way out, we have this guy. This is our manatee. I go into here, not there, but if I go into here, I just take a milk bucket. Gotta milk them. Gotta drink the milk to get rid of that spoon effect. Right in here, I also... never mind. I used to keep my very first blue axolotl in there, but I think I moved it for breeding purposes. Next up, we have the Panda Sanctuary. Because of course, as soon as I found terrain that looked like this, I absolutely had to build here. And walking on up in here, this place looks absolutely gorgeous from down below as well. Let's take a little bit of a closer look here. I have a potion shop right over here for taking down deep darks. So I should have a bunch of, speed potions. I think I also had night vision potions back here as well. And then, of course, I have other potions here so I can brew up some more stuff along the way. I have these little guys. I thought these things were amazing. They look like ladybugs kind of ripping around here. Saw that on Pinterest. I have the knowledge tree over here, which is a giant tree with a bunch of books kind of placed around here as a bookshop or library, if you will. Moving along, I have a lot of like terraforming going on here. I've got logs that are kind of coming up and over across. I have ponds that are coming down. Little fox is fishing around here. I have a mushroom house up there, which we'll take a look at. I built this for Duke. Duke's an amazing person, and his little brother, Mono. Right here, this is where I got my very first brown panda in the game. So this is supposed to be a research facility where where we are researching the genetic properties of what makes brown pandas brown pandas. Wow, try saying that 5 times fast, huh? We have an observatory right here so we can observe pandas in their natural habitat. This is a tincture. He's making some potions and maybe looking at blood samples. We have these little computers along the way. There's actually like a beacon beam laser thing right there. We have Amanda, Dr. Amanda, who has an addiction to sea pickles. She loves eating them. Little pixel art right here. Turned out fantastic. Right here in the central area is a yin and yang well. But not just a yin and yang well. There's a few other things in this area as well. I have a plant shop right here. So this was my very first melon area and my very first bamboo farm. I don't know what the heck that guy's doing up there, but we have Sin. She's always checking her numbers, always looking at her inventory and seeing where she's at with all of that. Over here, I have a candle shop run by Outlet, lighting up some nice candles, selling some really nice lamps. Haver of good chandeliers, I guess. We got some candles in the floor as well. You can buy wax and honey. Right over here, I have a fish shop. This was before I had the blue axolotl, so I built the blue axle pixel art right here. I have the freshwater fish, the saltwater fish, and the axolotls on this side. Pretty cool. And lastly, in this area, I have a music shop. This is the other side disc, I believe, where we have Heyman. He's got one of the super rare discs that he's holding in his hand. Nice little drum set. I was gonna say pig step, but drum set at the same time, so I ended up with drum step. We got a bunch of birds that will dance when you actually play it. Pianos and all that cool stuff. Flying up out of here. this building up here, this is a kind of, well, there's two shops up here, actually. This was really difficult to make. Remember that. This is a shop just for buying anything, like kind of souvenirs. If you visit the area, run by Pips. And then we have a catering business right here where they're going to cater throughout the world. I have one more shop right back here as well before we progress over to the other side of this area. And this is just kind of like a little slime shop that I built in here. I don't know why I built a slime shop in here, but I got one. Here's a question for you guys. Do you know which Pokemon that is? Any Pokemon fans out there? All right. I have probably my favorite shop in this whole area, the Cat Cafe, right over here. This is a grayscale Jellycat etched into the mountain here. We have a creeper with a speed potion running away. And then, of course, this is the Cat Cafe, where we got like toys all over the place for cats to play with. We have food over here for all the cats. Play areas, of course. Paintings all over the walls because I love the cluttered look of this area. We got some litter boxes and cats just all over the place. I love the way that this place turned out. Closing that up. Over here, I have a auction shop. So this auction area is a area where we sell all kinds of rare mobs, if you will. So I got the 2 parrots. I have a Shriner, Snow Fox, Polar Bear, Skeleton Horse, and Olay holding a Trident. Ocelot, this dude, Jimbo, and a brown mushroom, and this is run by Heart Attack. And Crimson is over here trying to spend some of her rubies in order to buy some cool stuff. Right down here, I probably got the scariest shop that I have ever built in Minecraft. This is the headhunting shop. Dun dun dun. Anyways, this was like the very first thing that I ever built when the Deep Dark update came out, and I really love the way that this turned out. This is supposed to be the souls inside of the Warden's chest, and then this is supposed to be the Warden's chest. Supposed to have like all the bones all around here, and I think I did a pretty good job with this. And this is run by Owl. Moving on along here, this guy's got a big smile on his face. Look how happy he is walking into the scariest shop known to man. We have an ice cream shop up here. We'll go take a little closer look at that. I have 2 more shops down there, but I want to show you guys quickly what this one looks like over here. It looks like Jimmy Neutron. And we just have a little bit of an ice cream shop in here. Let's fly over to right here. I have the Beez Breeze shop selling more potions right in here. We got Brixie over here stuffing some Beez Breeze into her bundle right there. And then probably my other favorite shop here. Well, I don't like to say favorites, but I love the way that this turned out. I built this one for Bunny. This is a Oracle. She is the Oracle next door. She's looking into her respawn anchor, telling the future. We have ghosts flying out of the portals. We have these super dangerous end crystals. We have this guy in the floor, which can't remember the name of, but I'm sure, I think it's Karomi or something along those lines. Correct me if I'm wrong, but really love the way that that room turned out. But this is the Panda Sanctuary. But right outside the Panda Sanctuary, I have my tree farm. Oh, also before I leave, actually, these are fireflies right here. And this is a butterfly with a... Oh, that was weird. With an axolotl pond in here for Rusty and stuff. But flying on over here, this is the tree farm area. I hand chop every single log in this game So as you guys can see, this whole platform over here is basically built for hand chopping logs. That's basically what it is. It's a designated, glorified hand chopping area where I come over here, I take leaves, I chop logs, I do whatever I need to do. And then once I'm done, I throw all the items inside these trap chests right here. And then it filters through into a item sorter, which I'm not 100% sure works, but it item sorts all the stuff underneath us. I have a designated area for mushrooms, crimson, warps, all of the trees that you can basically plant side by side to get rid of all the leaves, and then the collection area with all of the saplings and the sticks. They all get swept down into the hopper system down there. Everything bigger than just a single tree gets chopped along this platform right here. And then underneath is where the item sorter is, with every single thing, which is pretty much empty in here except for probably sticks. Got a lot of sticks in here. I have a hoe and a axe in the floor. Two extremely necessary things for this farm to basically function. I have more cocoa beans chilling right here. And then I have a warped fungus farm, basically. But let me get a bite to eat. Let me go to sleep, and I'll show you guys the village here as well. So right on over here is where I really wanted to become a better builder. This is where I wanted to take on different types of roofs and really improve on roof styles. And this is where it all really happened. This is the little cottage core area that I built years ago. I have a nice little well right here. I used to have a bunch of rabbits in here that got completely blown up by a creeper, and now I just have wild rabbits who run all over the place around here. This is supposed to be a sawmill, so we're kind of like drying out lumber over here on all the racks, and then we're chopping it up as we go. Pretty cool. Over this way, I have a man-made lake that I thought at the time was a massive terraforming project, but boy, was I wrong. My concept of what massive is has changed quite a bit throughout the years, but I built this all up for Kip. I got like a nice little waterfall over there. Nice little pond. Honestly, what does this look like with the map? Nothing too crazy, honestly, with the map. This probably looks pretty dang cool though, huh? That's not bad. A little bit of a mess, but it's just basically like a small little lake that I textured way too much of the ground, and well, I learned a lot here. And like I said, my concept of what is big has definitely changed throughout the years. I would say that this tree farm is probably about 3 years to 3.5 years old at this rate. But let's work our way over towards the raid farm area, or not raid farm, but the portal area. I've got a little water well right here. This guy's chopping down the tree. This is probably my first crane I ever built in Minecraft. I think it turned out all right. Could make a way better crane nowadays. Little gazebo / bridge thing right there. And then right here is the portal. So let's head to, I think, the last place for me to show you guys is, which is right down here. This is TMG's Fox Sanctuary, and this is also a snowy cold area. So going through this portal right here will take us to a floating island, which was a massive pain in the neck to build at the time. Should probably remove that as well so I don't have any escapees. But this is the Fox Sanctuary up in here. So I have a bunch of foxes. I have the orange, the white, a phoenix, and a ender fox. Probably looks pretty good from a bird's eye view right here. Looking down, This is supposed to be a giant snowflake, and then I got just the big hexagon shaped castle thing that goes around here as well. I have the different kind of trees, so I've got some like little ice trees and whatnot around the area. Down here I have the, well, this was actually my very first location ever where I was breeding up all kinds of frogs. So back when frogs were introduced into the game, this was my designated spot to basically breed them up and transport them throughout the world. Same thing goes with foxes as well. This is something that I provide for the Hall of Fame. So I can basically come up here, breed up a bunch of foxes, and be on my way. But the main thing that made this thing a huge challenge was the fact that I built this as my very first time ever floating island. And I think that this is way too freaking big for anybody to build when it comes to their very first time building a floating island. And let's just say it was a massive challenge, to say the least, and I had to build it more than one time. There's that. Let me give you guys a little bit of an update on the volcano, because filming this world tour has taken so long that the volcano honestly looks so much different from what I've shown you guys in the very beginning of the episode. So let that be a little bit of a testament on how long this world tour took me to basically record. But ultimately, if you guys want to see any of these projects basically come together, you guys can watch all of these over on my Twitch channel or on my YouTube channel, which you guys are already on right now, or my TikTok if you want to see any of the short form content. Let me rack my brain real quick and make sure that I'm not missing any builds to show you guys. And of course I'm missing a build to show you guys. I built this a very long time ago. This is where I have all of my villagers right behind this wall. This was supposed to be my original Dwarven kingdom. I built this really cool door right here. I go in through the side. This used to work, believe it or not, but it don't work no more. I blame I blame Redstone updates or something like that. This was my very first dragon I ever built in Minecraft. This is the Great Amethyst Dragon. This is Puff. Its wings is supposed to be one side of an eggshell and then the other side of an eggshell. So its wings are supposed to be the egg itself. I have the dragon egg behind me, a full diamond beacon underneath me. I built this up for shadow right there. As we progress up the stairway, this is where all of my villagers are located. Behind this wall right here is where the villager breeder is, where I could basically transfer them out of the villager breeder and into the villager trading hall. I have an iron golem here for protection. Across the way, I have a bank with Emeraldo, or this might be Dargan. Yeah, this is Dargan. Kind of hanging out here, and I have my emeralds kept right below there. Behind this wall, I have a sea pickle farm. Nothing crazy, but provides me with quite a few sea pickles. Not a too bad of a farm to build, but took a little bit more iron than expected. Right down here is where I basically come every day and farm myself emeralds. I have the librarians down this way. All my glass trades will be highlighted right there. Cartographers down this way. For those of you guys who didn't know, cartographers will sell you item frames. There's a lot of people who don't know that. I only have 2 guys who sell me item frames. Potion brewers right down here. This is where I buy a lot of my bottles of enchantment, glowstone, redstone, lapis, you name it. These guys are great. Whenever I need to make a new bow, I have all of the archers, of course. All of the masons, which I literally cannot stress to you guys enough. There's a reason why I have 100 more masons elsewhere in the world. We could buy terracotta. quartz, which is absolutely massive. These guys are amazing. Across the way, I have my weapon dudes. I sell a ton of iron to these guys. That's how I actually make emeralds in the world. Farmers, leather workers, loom dudes, butchers, where I buy all of my pork chops. 1 emerald for 5 pork chops. Absolutely smoking deal. I've got the armorers down here. That's more iron trades. These guys are absolutely great too. They sell campfires, which is a pretty big deal. Down here is where I trade even more iron. I have boxes of iron blocks. I come in here, I trade iron, and right now, currently where it sits, I have 1.8 million villager trades. So I ain't no slouch when it comes to trading for emeralds. There's a difference between having a raid farm and working towards your emeralds. And I prefer to work towards the emeralds. I just feel like it's a little bit more fun for me. And that's a stat that not a whole lot of people could flex. Unless they have some sort of cheeky mod to let them basically trade items and buy items faster, huh? It'd be kind of cheeky, wouldn't it? Over here, this is a Netherwart farm. Right behind here. I just kind of like click the button. All the Netherwart gets dispensed. This is a super smelter. Has over 240 furnaces all throughout here. Pretty standard. All of the stuff just basically gets smelted up and put into these chests right over here, which is currently full. And then, of course, it connects right back down into the sewer system, which you guys already know where this leads off into, which is my storage room. As the world continues to get larger and larger, it's becoming an increasing struggle to show you guys everything there is to showcase in this world. I really hope you guys enjoyed the world tour. If you made it to the very end, let me know what your favorite build was that you saw and what you guys are looking forward to watching me revamp throughout time. But until then, I'll see you guys in the next one, and I appreciate each and every single one of you guys for being here. But until then, YouTube thinks you guys should check out this video.